Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. And as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over. But we already have a couple of early birds, and she goes by the name of the Crazy Stitch Lady. Yes, we got Bears versus Bulls. Adara's, of course, always dropping hot lines in the chat. Happy Wednesday to all. We'll wait for everyone. There we go. We got Daryl. We got Pillsbury, Fiddleback, JC Finance, Pitchbull, Dan, B. Davis, Aaron, Callum Mitchell Miller, B-Bot 5000. We got Greg Moore. We got Benton C., Chris Wrightson, Isaac Roberts, Scott H., Mert Guler, Bob Dub, Billy Turner, baby. We got Roger. We got Ink Matisse, Caleb, English, Will, Evans, Mary L, Big Adam Deluce as well. And I realized yesterday I started singing that Arsenal song and gave you absolutely no context as to why I was singing it. So stadiums are empty everywhere we go is essentially mocking the home fans because Arsenal keeps going away to their turf, whooping them 5-6-0, and the fans end up leaving because they can't handle the you-know-what whooping.
Oh,
right?
That's why.
So that's the whole little thing there. I forgot that. I totally just started singing.
So they beat them so thoroughly that they leave.
So thoroughly, Adara, that they can't watch their team take more whooping. So they just go home. Right? Poor people.
You sound...
The Katina man likes it, baby. Good morning, Adara. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm all right. What'd you say, Chilean Nightmare? All right. What are you looking at? There are some triangles on that chart, and it's a profitable trade. Let's talk about it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Sharif did catch me getting a little bit excited here in this video. Sharif said pamp it, and I got like way too down. So, you know, I have to remember the words of Sharif's pal Alfred and Palfred. And
short off VWAP?
And be neutral, not be emotional. But I was pretty happy with how this went. Basically, the goal here was I wanted to get involved here when I saw a little bit of support. Where did I get in here? I don't remember where I got in on this. That 882.75. We held up here pretty well. I took a really small position because I've noticed with NVIDIA, I feel like I need to take smaller size because this one gets a little crazy. It likes to go ham and often not in the direction that you enter. But so I got involved here. Then I liked this previous area where we got to that just shy of 885, 884.50. Then we had this massive wick up and then sell off. So I got out right there. That ended up being a pretty okay area. We ended up getting, I think, back up into 885 and then we sold off. So I got out 884.50. So we had about a $1.75 winner here in the sim. So I was pretty happy with this. Super scalpy. That's the type of trading. And by that, I don't mean win. I mean scalping that I'm trying to do here. Win or lose, I want to be a little bit scalpier. I don't want to have plans that I'm sticking with. That's the trade here. Thank you for letting me talk about that. But you seem excited as well.
Just took a nice little Tesla breakdown again off 177. But the Katina man is yelling about AMD, and there's a good reason for that. So right before we start the lesson, I just want to look at this AMD trade here on the Katina man's behalf because this has been rejecting off VWAP for a while now. So it's been a kind of a rinse and repeat trade. We had that big move up initially on the bell as, you know, how many days have we said this? Strength in semi-cap world, in semiconductor world. But today sells off a little bit there right after that IB high that we made at around 945. And this is the white line here. That's the volume weighted average price. Every single ascent back into VWAP has been sold off. The Katina man is short 211.50. If you're not following his trades, get on over and say again. 211.30. 211.33, so 211 and a third instead of 211 and a half. We're talking pennies here, Katina man. But yeah, basically taking this area short. If you're not following his trades, get on over to more Trader TV. It's this channel over here. And look what the production team. The production team's undefeated, right? So look, they have Papa, they have the whole, this is the House of Representatives. Obviously, you got everything on here. Make sure to run this channel while you are watching ours to know exactly what the Neil and the Katina man are trading. Adara. All right. Let's get right to that lesson. It may not be appropriate for today because, well, we're up 0.86% on the NQ and up 0.2% on the ES, but there will be days you're going to want to know exactly how to short into an active decline, and that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so let's understand this strategy first and foremost. This strategy needless to say, involves short selling a stock that's already experiencing a downward trend and strong momentum. So it's downward trend with strong momentum. The underlying assumption here is that the decline will continue, allowing you obviously to repurchase the shares at a lower price and profit from the difference. That's how we make money off short selling. So the assumptions here are, not the assumptions, the actions here are downward trend with strong momentum, and the assumption is going to continue to decline. So why short sell into an active decline? Why not wait for a pullback of sorts? Well, obviously there's potential for quick profits because you're already in that downward direction, and if you catch it, you're looking for that quick move down. So if the downtrend continues, you can potentially profit quickly as the stock falls further south. And you're basically capitalizing on strong sell-off sentiment. So you're going with the trend. This strategy aligns with the existing bearish momentum and the heightened selling pressure that is in the market. So you're catching it, you're going with the trend. You hear me talk a lot about being or trying to pretend that I'm a momentum trader, a trend trader. This would fit right down my alley. Now, what's going on here? So how do you identify these opportunities of short selling into an active decline? So 3 steps here we're going to talk about, guys. The first one is you're looking for a downtrend confirmation. So you're looking for a chart where you can confirm there's obviously a good downtrend. You're looking for technical indicators and chart patterns confirming that strong downtrend. This might include steep declines in price, consistently lower highs and lower lows, for example, or high trading volume, excessive trading volume, above average trading volume on that red day. So you're looking for any number of things. Those 3 are included. So again, technical indicators, whether you're looking for moving averages pointing down, trading below VWAP, for example, you're looking for chart patterns, things perhaps that are reversal patterns if we had a move up initially, continuation patterns if we're already moving down. You're looking for consistently lower highs and lower lows, and you're looking for outsized volume potentially to show you that this is a good shorting day. Step 2 is you're looking for momentum indicators. So you want to utilize the momentum indicators in this context. You're looking for things like the relative strength index, moving average convergence divergence, or MACD, to identify strong selling pressure, often indicated by values reaching oversold conditions. Now, if you're unsure how to use the relative strength index, otherwise known as RSI, the most rudimentary way to use it is to look at the market from an oversold or overbought condition. So the RSI has a scale of 0 to 100. Anything above 70 is generally considered overbought. Anything below 30 is generally considered oversold. That's not the way I use it. I'm not saying that's not how you can use it. So look to use other momentum indicators to confirm your bias. And step 3 is your entry point and your exit point, obviously. So your entry and your exit, consider entering the short position during periods of increased volatility or downward price gaps, suggesting a continuation in the decline. Typically here, what we do get is a move back up after a strong move down. You're going to have to account for that. So you may not want to get in your full position initially. You may want to account for a possible pullback, like we talked about yesterday, shorting into a pullback in a downtrend. So you can look to do one of those 2 or one of any number of things. And then your profit taker, you're looking for a key support level below where you're trading at as a potential area to take profit. The thesis there being that you may encounter support at that level and prices may bounce back up. So if we were looking possibly short Apple 170, which I was today and I'll get to in a second, you may be looking for that 165 or wherever Apple shows support on the daily chart. Just wanted to mention that. And then, what is going on with this thing? Why is it repeating so many times? All right, managing risk. We've talked about that every day in short selling week because you have to manage risk in short selling given the increased level of risk. So stop loss orders. Place stop loss orders above a recent swing high or a short-term resistance level. So you're placing your stop above a swing high or a short-term resistance level to automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises. And like I mentioned yesterday, position sizing, guys. When you are position sizing in a short, you need to account for the increased level of risk. Now, I keep mentioning this as a suggestion. If you have a rule to take no more than 5% of your account long, you may consider something like having that for short. No more than 2.5% of your full account on any one short sale. I'm just giving you any random suggestion. Make do of it as you will. Whatever fits your trading methodology, do it. But as long as it's sound risk management strategies. And remember, guys, lots of caveats here. Shorting, highly risky, not guaranteed like everything else in trading to be profitable. The price can unexpectedly rise in reverse course, causing significant losses. And there's always the risk of a short squeeze. And so that's why you need to apprise yourself as to the short float before you get in short. So we know that Carvana has a high short float. What else got a high short float? There's a bunch
AI,
of stuff.
C3 AI.
Thank you, C3 AI. Thank you, Adara, with a high short float. So before you get into the name, apprise yourself of the short float. If you don't have access to that information, check out Trade Ideas and use the code tradertv20 for 20% off. This is what you'll get here, and this is how I figure out the short float on things. So let's go and use an example AI Dara just gave us. Look at that short float. More than a third of the 100 million shares is shorted. 33.6% of the float is short, and that means that you're at a higher risk of getting squeezed. And if you don't know what a short squeeze is, Google that, because very important to know if you're going to get into anything short. And like everything else, we talked about thorough research. You have to look at the fundamentals and the technicals. Make sure that you're apprised of the macroeconomic environment as well as the specific environment for that particular sector, because you need to know if something changes. Neil always talks about if-then statements, and I could not agree more. So you have to say to yourself, for example, I always use the solar stocks as an example. They're so interest rate sensitive. So if we were to have Papa Powell right now drop hot lines in the House of Representatives and say, well, you know, we're looking for 6 cuts this year, I'm willing to bet you solar stocks are going to start squeezing to the high side, right? And you have to understand what could move that particular sector, what could move that particular stock to basically put the kaputs on my thesis. You need to understand what's going on and make sure you try to cross your T's and dot your I's the best you can. You can't cover all the bases, Adara.
That's the thing too, right? But good research can help you prepare for those situations that get a little hairy, get a little bit, you're not really prepared, right? Also, I have a whole host of questions here, and I'm going to space them out between the lesson, between when we repeat this, because I don't want to.
Can I drink my coffee as we're doing
it? Yes, of course, I will not stop you. Yeah, because I think what I was thinking too when I was, and I think I mentioned this to you as well, is that this is a little bit more of a momentum kind of strategy, right? So I figured you would have probably some interesting takes on this, and definitely a lot of perspective to offer. So I guess in this type of situation, I'm going to start with, how do you, I guess, avoid or prevent yourself from shorting near the bottom of the move down? Now, I know it's really hard to call a bottom, but is there a way to kind of avoid getting involved when we're at or near the low of day and then we see a bounce?
Fantastic question, because I hate, and you know how we hate to get in bottom wick and then watch it pop up and then, or getting stopped out bottom wick. You know exactly what I mean. So a couple of things I would suggest there. One, we're trying to ID key support levels that we could bounce off on that particular instrument. So before I get in short, I need to know where my support levels are. And something I've been seeing you doing a lot on your chart, you're putting a lot of horizontal lines, identifying key areas of resistance and support. So that's one thing I would do. Now, number two, if I'm shorting a Mag 7 name, I want to keep an eye on the future. What's the future look like right now? Is it setting up for a bullish move, or is it consolidative? Is it bearish? What's the look on the future? And that really has to do more with these mega cap names. I'm not going to do that with a small cap gapper. Doesn't care what the future's doing, right? So that's what I'd say to you on that one.
That makes it. Actually, thank you for bringing up the small cap gappers, because that leads me into one of my other questions here. In no particular order, just kind of asking the ones that make sense here. So due to the possibility for short squeezes, is this a strategy that you would avoid using then, or be more cautious using in heavily shorted stocks? And do you check short float before making this type of trade?
Always, Adara. Yeah, like we just finished yapping about right now. I showed the Trade Ideas screen. I gotta know what the short float is, because if you're getting in something big boy shares, and if it's a swing trade, even worse, right? Because then you could wake up overnight and you could find yourself gapping up, I don't know what umpteen %. a little bit less likely during the intraday session. Not unheard of course, but a little bit less likely. I'm always apprised of the short float before I punch short on anything.
And another question too, I guess I'm curious, and I mean, there might not be like a yes or no answer to this. I know that you talk a lot about not wanting to short small caps, which makes sense for like a lot of reason. Would you say that this the short float aspect and like, you know, the share volatility plays into why you do not short small caps?
Okay, I just want to make a little bit of a correction.
Oh,
I don't like shorting small caps above VWAP.
Okay, thank you for
I will
clarifying.
never
Sorry
do
about
that.
that.
Yeah. So two things, like, you know, I won't go long on a small cap gapper south of VWAP. Conversely, I'll never short it if it's above VWAP. But there was a period last year where I would take these small cap gappers and they kept failing, Adara. So what they would do, they'd try to break the pre-market high, they'd fail, and it would be a short sell the entire day. But sometimes they bounce off VWAP. So what I would wait for is for that flat bottom break, that big move down, a consolidative sideways movement, and then another big move down. So that's where I'd like to position in if I'm going to take a small cap capper short.
Thank you, and I thank you for clarifying that, and I apologize for accidentally misquoting you there.
Good.
But that makes sense.
All good.
It's like if the rule, and I think it goes back to as well, we've had this conversation where, you know, you've told me whatever's going to get you into the trade could sometimes also be helping you get out of the trade. So that makes sense. If you're going to go short for a certain reason, that would be, you know, the inverse of why you go long.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. I think I'm going to save the rest of these for later.
Sounds good.
But thank you so much for answering those, and I think I learned a lot there. So hopefully there's some other, you know, learning and chatting and questions here in the chat.
Absolutely. All right. Can I just get some small cap gappers? I just want to show what I've got on my chart. Haven't traded any small cap gappers as of yet. What's going on, Katina Man? $2 in the money on AMD. The Katina Man is short 211. Where am I? 211.33. 28 because he wet his beak on some profits, no big deal there. And now we're down at 209.5. Keep your eye on AMD. It is repeatedly rejecting on VWAP. And here it is. This is exactly, we got the chart up, Katina Man. And every time it pops up into that general VWAP area, it is finding its way down. So great look there for AMD. Still up on the day, 2%. To go red, it's got to break 205. All right, so that's AMD. The other small cap gapper that I'm watching, and I think all small cap traders are watching this one, APM. What a monster. 400% to the north side. Started its life today at $1.50, and we saw an 843 print at the high. This has all the check marks beside it. Definable pre-market high. Trading above VWAP. We don't know the float though, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of homework here. Let's bring down trade ideas and find out what the look is on APM. APM, number one, was it called? Aptorum Group? Sure, whatever. 2.5 million share float, negligible short float, only 0.15% of the float is shorted, so nothing really to look for there. Now, how do you bamboozle your way into this? Here's what I see. I see a couple of tops here that are of interest to me. Number one, that $6 general area. Why? Because that was near the pre-market high. We topped out technically in the pre at 6 1/3, but I'm liking that 6 level. Now, if 6 is nothing, then I'm really liking this 5.5. Why? Because all the closing prints, both pre-market and after the bell, seem to have topped up at 5.5. The closing prints, not the wicks, okay? Here's what we did at around 840, 544 the high there. Then the same look right that 1040 when we got back into the pre-market high was around 5 1/3, 5.5 general area of support. That means it's gonna have to dip $2 from where it's trading at right now, which is fine. It's longable in my opinion, so long as it's above the volume weighted average price, and VWAP right now is at 508, generally that $5 area. APM, I'm gonna have eyes on this all day. Some other ones that were doing well but have since given up the ghost Adara are NKGN. This one is doing the dance with no pants south of VWAP here. It had a definable pre-market high, it broke it, this, that, and the other, but now it is below the volume weighted average price and not tradable for me. RVSN as well looked fantastic. Second day play. Well, not second day, I mean, it was pumping on the 29th of February. This one made a nice move into that 4 3/4 in the after the bell around 10 o'clock. Did everything right, then it broke below VWAP, and now it is rejecting VWAP from the sell side. Not tradable for me. That is until it breaks above that 3 2/3, 3 1/4 Adara, which means it gets above the volume weighted average price.
Yeah, that rail vision, we were talking about this off camera. I know we've talked about this one. Was it January that this one started running? But it's been running for a good long while.
Like it is, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know also, I was seeing here on the tweet deck at the Big Decks, Michael Noss expressing some interest in RVSM. He was tweeting about watching that one. So the Noss boss has his eyes on rail vision. And yes, that pun was intended. Also, I'm in this trade here. I'm in this meta short.
I like it.
You think I got involved here right around this VWAP, and I know or sorry, not VWAP, 9 EMA, but basically what I watched was I liked this, I think Neil as well was mentioning Meta earlier today, basically. But I liked this 948. We have this topping tail candle. We make this move to the downside. We fall slightly below that earlier area of top and turn. And wow, this range was a thing of beauty in the pre-market. That 496 area, right? Then we kind of pop up into that just above VWAP, just shy of 500. We pull back with the viciousness. I was waiting for that nice little drop. As Neil says, get it on the back end. That was what I intended to do here. And then we got out part of the position here around that 947.40 area. Looks like we could be popping back up a little bit, so that's a little bit dicey. But I want to get everything out here around that 497 area. I think we could theoretically go a little bit lower, but that's not my type of trade. My type of trade is going to be a little bit scalpy, a little bit more ninja-like. So if we can get down there just into that 497, please just punch. There we go. I also with this Microsoft scalp, clearly I got out before the move ended, but I'm actually, you know what, I'm not gonna, as Sharif says, you're always gonna be angry as a trader, so I'm not gonna try to be too angry about this. I got involved here because I liked that we had all these candles here. I liked that we were holding that 402.40 area really well. I added a little bit to the position when I saw some support here. You can't tell because I added within the same candle, but it's just a little bit lower, so we got our DCA a little bit nicer. It was a planned DCA, basically. If we can hold this level, we'll add in. The initial plan was to get out. I don't even know if we would have touched the area I wanted to get out because it would have been around this pop here, that 403.50. Then I noticed what we were doing is we were getting up to that 402.60 area and then pulling back, which was also the area we had a little top and turn earlier. So basically, once we could get there, I decided to get out. You got to be happy with what you get. You get what you get, and do not get upset. As Neil and I were both saying around the same time last week. But yeah, I like that Microsoft move. Meta, let's see if you come back down. The spread out on Meta, you and I have discussed this, has always been a little bit of an issue as of late. Looks like we actually might, based on this candle here, might be curling back up on Meta. So I might have to cut and run here and leave Meta, dine and dash, get out of this trade.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? How dare I? Let's call Zuck there, but no, I'm joking. I'm having a good time here with this Meta trade, having a good time with the trades in general. And yeah, excited to see what the market brings. How are you doing? Did you get back in Tesla?
No, I didn't. I'm looking at it. It's a bit of a double top, possibly off that 178. It also could be a consolidative range between 178 and 177 because that's what it's doing right now. We're not getting that decided breakthrough that 177 level. Big Kyle Burdett shedding some light on that softy trade. Adara, Microsoft getting short between 403.5 and 404. Let's bring in the Meg 7 charts here and have a look at what Big Tech is up to on the day. So Big Kyle wants to go short 403.5. 404. Let's see what he's talking about over here. Let's pull up Softy. Where are our clear areas of resistance and support? Well, I got to tell you, 404. Say again, Katina Man? $5 now? AMD's tanking, guys. Now, it is negative since the bell rang, 1 1/3%. Say it again. 13 straight red 1-minute candles, says the Katina Man on AMD, guys. We're going to have to look at AMD again. I'm sorry. So we're going to digress a little bit here from that softy trade, Big Kyle, because, yeah, AMD, the Katina Man is bringing up a really good point here. Guys, this is big time moves down on AMD. So I don't want to call this a flat bottom break, but we got some support at 209.5. You could tell there were some wicks there. It's more like a VWAP rejection than a flat bottom break. A lot of attempts to make this one pump up above VWAP, and then the seller said, no, you don't. And right back down into the 200 EMA we go on the 5-minute look here, Dara, which is 207.57. To go red on the day, guys, we got to break 205. The opening print at 4 a.m. was 207. So we could find some support at 207, not really putting too much stock into that 4 a.m. print. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, we need to be cognizant of these levels. Right, Adara?
Yes, we do.
I don't know why I did that. I was like looking for affirmation for you. I don't know why.
No, I agree.
Big Kyle Burdett was talking about that 4.4, 4.3.5. Let's look at that. Yeah, interesting look, Kyle. I mean, that 404 area was a bit of a top there in the aftermarket yesterday. Couldn't really break through that. 403.5 takes us to that double top area here where we can't really print higher than, since essentially the 930 print. So I do like that. Bit of a V-shaped retracement here, but if we come right into that area of resistance and stop up, I'm going to join you on that short, Kyle, especially if we reject 18.1. Hate to jump to the futures, but I have to, because we're doing the dance here with 18.1 now. We did, I would say, a better dance with 18,000, despite the fact that we dipped a little bit below. Look at these closing prints, though. They're all much closer to 18,000 than you would anticipate, because this print went down into the 60s, 17,960s. But we generally hold 18,000, and now we're in a bit of a 100-point range where we can't break above 18.1 at the moment. So let's watch. We're kind of doing the wick shimmy dance, but from the south side, which usually means a short is coming in. It's not a hard and fast rule, just an observation. Let's see what we get here.
Yeah, I've kind of a strange question for you. So with regards to future levels, because you said, like, you know, the 18,000 versus what we're seeing here with 18.1.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you think the degree of the wick shimmy dance, or the degree of difficulty, the length of the wick shimmy dance there, does that play a role in terms of like the strength of the level of that day? So if we have a harder time getting over it, that level is going to be a bit more significant?
That's a good question. Like, do you mean like if I watched it today, say 18.1 today, and 18.1 just wasn't breaking? It was just, you know, yeah, that's a good question. It's something that I actually haven't done, but something that I should probably do, because if we're getting a good defense on that level on that day, I need to be aware of it. So yeah, definitely. Got into that Tesla short here, Dare, so I'm going to send it to you while I put out some stops.
Yeah,
okay, my monitor just went blank, guys. I'm in a trade. I'm panicking. I'm in a trade.
Oh.
What's going on? Yeah, I'm in a trade, bro.
Yeah, I don't know model why that happened, but best of luck to Sharif in his Tesla trade.
What?
Also,
Where's my
Diamond Realty in Miami, thank you so much for the member chat here. Member for 20 months. Thank you so much for your support. Sorry, this was earlier. I apologize. This was before the lesson. Just saw this now. But thank you so much. This show gets better every day. Hashtag best show on YouTube. Hashtag 305. Thank you very much to Diamond Realty of Miami. And also, I saw earlier you were mentioning AISP, I believe. So let's look at AISP for Mr. 305 there. Sorry, Pitbull, your title's been taken. Yeah, I think, AISP has been really interesting, and I think I do want to talk a little bit about this support area we saw. I know Sharif was flying with Airship yesterday. AISP still floating off that yesterday's news. But yeah, I think that we're kind of holding the 680 area and 640 pretty well. Those are both from the pre-market, both areas. The 640 we haven't gotten into yet, but I will be interested to see if we bounce off 640 coming down here as well. In terms of that move up, other areas I'm kind of seeing, that 760 was kind of interesting with the pop in the pre-market. We come area, and then we actually come into it right around VWAP reject. Then we kind of see these higher highs coming back up, right? But we have not succeeded that high we made right at 930. So it does not pass the Sharif test with regards to A, it's below VWAP, and B, that pre-market high has not been passed. It's not even been eclipsed. It hasn't even been danced with. There's no wick shimmy dance here. It's just downside here right now. But yeah, it's still up about 34% in the day, so not a bad look for AISP. I think, though, I'm going to keep these lines up because I do like this kind of support area at 640. Should it bounce, or should it hold and bounce? And thank you very much again to Diamond Realty of Miami for that member chat. Also, Daryl Flinge mentioning this. Earlier, this is a $15 short for Daryl Finch, so congrats. Took my last couple, 330 crowd from a 345 short, so congrats to you. Let's look at CrowdStrike. I almost said crowdfunding. Yeah, CrowdStrike, woo, that's a nice look. Okay, I'm gonna draw levels because as Sharif alluded to earlier, that's something that I like doing, and I think I like having things to actually see when I'm doing my little range trade, so there we go. We have this move here, a little bit of downside. We'll extend this even further. I like that I can extend. The range is fun. And then even clearer, perhaps, is the top end of this range to the downside. So we have this kind of...
downside, I like that.
We have this area here as well coming in. So this bit of a flat top of that 352. Instead of flat top breaking up, we flat top break down to the downside. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low. Yeah, that where you said 345. Yeah, that's a nice area of entry too, because that was where we had a little bit of consolidation here, a little bit of a pause, pop back up, and we fly down with the viciousness. So yeah, congrats to you for that short. Fantastic look, and thank you for sharing that all with us here. This one, yeah, I mean, honestly, not one, like I said, I would ever really area of entry, but I think this is a fantastic look. Also, it looks like Papa Powell and his Senator Pals are taking lunch right now. They're going to be done. There's a hard stop at 1, and when they mentioned the hard stop, the guy who was running the meeting said that Chair Powell smiled. So it looks like Chair Powell is going to be very excited to leave at 1 today.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with him
was
smiling.
Pretty entertaining.
Maybe he'll cut rates sooner if he's happier.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's at 1 p.m. But yeah, this is what's happening here with my trade.
Down.
Also, thank you so much to Adam Deleuze. Congrats to sticking to your plan. It's super important to be disciplined on this. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Let me look at Meta here. Because I stuck to my plan on Meta. I ended up getting out of this a little bit earlier because, like I said, I was watching. We kind of curled back up here on that 497.50. I got out. Could have stayed in, but honestly, we still have not even gotten to my area of exit, which is going to be right before that 497. And we know that sometimes I have the patience of like, you know, a cheetah, runs really fast. I don't know, it wasn't a great analogy. But sometimes I do lack that patience. I do not pack my patience, as Sharif suggests. But yeah, so that's okay. I got out a little bit here early, still won in the short, still pleased as punch. And yeah, really just kind of trying to adhere to my scalpy little plans. Also here, I do want to pull up, I'm excited to hear about Sharif's Tesla trade, but first I want to pull up NVIDIA because this one's been interesting. I saw Compass Direct earlier saying, it looks like NVIDIA does not know where to go. Does anyone have any reads? This was a while ago. But yeah, I think I'm honestly kind of interested to see what NVIDIA does too. What I am seeing, though, is a bit of a double top. Initially 945, we get this pop here into 890, we reject with the viciousness. We fall down back below into that pre-market area of interest around that 874-esque. Then we pop back up, get that double top here around 887. I mean, double top on like a closing level in the 3-minute. And then we fall down here. Now we've dropped about $8. So yeah, I think if we can keep, honestly, this could be actually kind of a tasty range if we get back into that 874 and bounce. But it's not one that I would A, take right away without some confluence, and B, not one I would take with a lot of shares. Because wow, this NVIDIA is dicey, risky, whatever word you want to use for scary, you can use it here, but not for someone with diamond hands. Congrats, Sean, on the diamond hands trade.
Printing on that AMD.
Yeah, he AM demolished that one. Amazon too, let's pull up Amazon. Short 175, Amazon, says Sean, and yeah, Killer Katina murdering that one as well. We come into that 197 area, or sorry, 175.
There we go.
And then we flush to the downside. What a look. Congrats to Sean, and shout out to everybody in the chat killing it here as well. How did it go in Cybertruck?
Not bad at all. Decent print, still going south, baby. On TSLA, it's at 28s now. Let this one go down further. Sorry, just had to set up all my other screens as everything kind of just got wobbly there on the setup. I don't know why. When one monitor goes, it like distributes all the different screens to all the different monitors that you have, which is interesting. But here we go. This has been, I would say, the best look on the day. It has been that 170 level on AAPL. You've had 3 opportunities to trade this. I took a long and then I took a short. And then I didn't get into that 3rd attempt on 170 on Apple. It gave you 3 attempts at 170 once it broke it. So initially we took that long through that 169.5 and we wet our beak through the touch of 170, and then we took it short once it rejected 170 again at 169.90, and then we wet our beak at the $0.50. This one was the one that I missed out right now as the market tanked again off 18.1. And this time, it doesn't break 170 on a straight basis. Like, the only time it broke 170 was, like, really over here. And then this one was basically at south of 170 the entire time. So if you had your stop, say, 170.05, I don't think you got triggered here. So you would have risked 5 pennies to make, what, 65 here? Because now it's bouncing off 169.35. So fantastic 3 times the charm now, I guess, on Apple. But keep in mind that even though it's rejecting off that 170 every single time, it's putting in consecutively higher lows. So look at that initial dip was right into 169. I think we actually broke 169. We got into 168, low 90s. And then we stopped at 169. And then the low was 169.20. And now the low is 169.40. So ascending lows here with a flat top really doesn't say much to me at this point until we break and hold above 170, but something to note on Apple. So third time's the charm on Apple. Tesla finding a bit of a bounce here. We're going to pack our patience to 176 on TSLA, but right now it's at 176.5. We're short 61s. So we'll see what we get there. Let's see what else we're getting here. RVSN not doing much. And NVIDIA. Scott H was trying to get me to come into RVSN with him. I'm like, Scott, can't do that. I just finished saying I don't take small cap gappers long south of VWAP. He's like, I tried. So shout out to Scott H, small cap trader. He's always showing them to me. None, not able to see your trades. What happened to the blotter? I don't know what happened. It says no positions.
Yeah, I'm not in anything right now.
What do you got over there?
What I've got is I'm looking for trades here. Honestly, it wasn't really an answer to your question, but I'm taking a look to kind of see what's on the horizon. I drew some levels on Tesla earlier, and we have not come into these since the pre-market. So I drew these right before I got on the big desk. I liked that we had these, we had this little baby bounce here twice at that 179.30. We had a Scotia support at 179, then that 180 area being a bit of resistance. And then Tesla was like, oh, cool, you drew these levels. I'm going to care about them, not at all, and kept moving. That's okay. We drew them either way. I do like also, though, this 178 area just here because we did have this pseudo double top continue to fall to the downside. I'm gonna have to spend some more time with the Cybertruck though before hopping in. Yeah, Meta curling back up here at that 497 area that I initially, like I said, that was really my area of interest to exit the short. Looks like we're curling, and my reason for that too, to explain, it wasn't all willy-nilly. I did like that area of exit because we had a little bit of resistance there, or sorry, support there early in the pre-market. Right? No, sorry, resistance was the right word. We had resistance in the pre-market, then we had support again later, right around 10. Then we come back into support at 497. So that was kind of what I was worried about when I was in the short. So looks like that area did end up holding a support. I would not be getting involved in this though right now, and there's a couple reasons for that. A, we're below that 9 EMA, and we're not really doing much with the viciousness here. B, Meta spread right now is about 10 cents, which even for Meta is a little bit spicy for my personal taste. And then C, we actually have lower highs and higher lows. This could get a little bit compressy, and for my range-related purposes, it's a bit hard to know exactly what the range is going to be when that range is tightening on you with every move up and down. So it's not something I have a play on right now, but it is something I will be keeping an eye on, as with all of my mega caps at all times. I was looking at Abercrombie and Fitch earlier. Shout out to that Light Funky One song that Sharif and I were singing this morning. That New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food definitely, makes you sick according to that song. But yeah, so does this ANF chart, because what a crazy move. Brendan was talking about this one in the pre-market as well. We had this move out. Look at this triple top of 145. Last time, if we top, this comes in 927. Then we fall right with this craziness here, right at open. We make a lower low, and it's interesting too. Every time we fall, we make a slightly lower low, 135, 134, 133. Now, where I was getting interested in this short and didn't end up getting involved because of the spread was here. I liked it when we popped back into this 138. I liked that we had lower highs, lower lows, and we kept having these wicks into VWAP here. I figured, and you've mentioned as well, the more times we touch a level and fail to break, the more it suggests that when we do break that level, we'll break with an intensity. That's what we got here on Abercrombie and Fitch. Fell to the downside, and interesting too, we're kind of curling, maybe seeing a little bit of support where we had that pop of resistance early, run that 136. Not perfect, but pretty close. But yes, we're gonna have to see what we do here in Abercrombie and Fitch. Again, though, not gonna be upset that I didn't get involved, because that's a 30-penny spread, and I only get that risky with spreads when I'm talking about Mademoiselle Lily. So there we go. That's the look on that Abercrombie and Fitch. Congrats to anybody involved in that short, because that was a nice look. Microsoft still kind of curling up towards that 403.50. Wish I had a trade right now, but I will not stop hunting, and I will put something on the board hopefully very soon. How are you doing?
I've been told that APM is squeezing by Scott H, and it absolutely is. Here we go. This is likely going to halt if it continues in this fashion. Broke through 9 after putting multiple attempts to break that $9 level, and here we're about to touch 12 on APM. It would be just aces if we knew where the halt levels were and could, work off them. But sometimes, we'll know exactly where they are. Here we go. So this 91 level, unless it's going to be a false halt and the algos are just bringing it up there for a second to bring it back down, we're going to halt here at 91s. Let's see if this ends up turning gray. Only sell, 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 and it's a false halt. And then we pump up again because the clock resets. It'd be so nice to know if that how that works, but then we're topping up again here at 1226 where the new halt level is, and we're going to have to spend some time here, I believe 10 seconds or so before this one's going to halt. Everything coming in at 26, nothing printing 27, and there we go. We get the halt in APM, 745% on this name. Continues to squeeze up, guys. How many times has this halted on the day? Let's bring in the side chart here. See, so I think we had an initial halt here off the open. That was it, really. Like, I mean, we had that definable pre-market level that we talked about, $6. Yeah, we only halted here at 10:45 for 5 minutes. So this is the second halt. Both have been up halts on this name. Keep your eye on it. This is presenting multiple opportunities, but again, with just like shorting, this is super dangerous because it's awfully volatile, very small float, and you know exactly what could happen from stuff like that. So very, very interesting there. All right, sorry about this Apple dark pool print. I'll have to fix that in a second, but we were looking here on Apple to see if it was going to continue to hold these higher lows and make its way back into 170. If it does, that's going to be an excellent rinse and repeat style trade. It's holding at the, let's just say the $0.50 general area. South of VWAP though, the VWAP on my chart is 81s. Apple, kind of a great range trade today if you like to take these predictable whole dollar levels off. 170 has been rinse and repeat. And by the way, the closing print yesterday, just not 170 because it's the whole dollar level. The closing print from yesterday is 170.12. So that's also nice to have as a key area of resistance. But this is what I want to watch. And now it's going to be, do we hold 18.1 in the future? And if we do hold 18.1 here, this is going to be a fantastic long. So we had this initial 18.1 rejection, and we hold up right at VWAP. So VWAP on my chart at the time was at 57s. We hold up at 60. So generally that VWAP area, but we're doing the wick shimmy dance again with the NQ at 18.1. Do we break 18.1 this time? If we do, obviously we're looking for likely 18.2. Unlikely to be any key areas of resistance in between these 100-point levels. Sometimes there is, but I don't know if we see one today. So anyway, this is a great long here. Possibly if we can hold above it, it's not yet. We're still rejecting 18.1 from the sell side, so this could be a rinse and repeat for the shorts, but I'm watching intently here to see if we get that break, because if we do, I want all the smoke with this futures trade. We can print on this one. What else is going on here? Amazon coming down. Shout out to the Katina man who's still printing on AMZN. This one curling off the 200 period moving average, let's say. It's probably curling off the 175, really. That's the level that it's rejecting off. And now 50 pennies south of that at 174.50. You may encounter some resistance, though, or support, excuse me, at that 174.10 level. That is yesterday's closing print on Amazon. And it's also the institutional level low today at 8 a.m. Make of that what you will. But yeah, 174 seems to be an interesting level from which to take profits. Do as you like, though. Let's see what else everybody's talking about here. Hey, can you look at MLTX? It sets up like KRYS before breakout, and I am in it for a swing. Let's see what this one. I don't know what KRYS is, but I'm going to have a look at MLTX. So Nick, you always show me these stocks that are doing really low volume. MLT, what is this? What is this stock? Moonlake Immunotherapeutics. Okay, so $3 billion market cap, not a small cap gapper, 56 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is on it. Well, not bad short float there. 14%, 14.1% to be exact of this float is shorted. The daily look. Not a bad daily chart. Clearly, though, a top at 65, Nick. I mean, how many times does it have to hit 65 for there to be, for us to believe that there's a seller or someone shorting in and around there? What I do like, though, is the higher low off that November dip, holds up at 35. Obviously, still printing south. It's been going red, printing red since basically mid-February when we had this big red candle come in. I don't know if this was an earnings day over here, but I don't know why you would tank from 57 all the way down to 46, 10 bucks in one day. Let me know if that February 29th print was earnings. In any event, I think you may have some support at 35, but I'd like it personally above 65 and wait for that either to get taken, maybe take it long through the break of that top on MLTX, but nothing on the day, obviously, because it's not doing enough volume. Keeping my eyes intently here on the future, we're looking for possibly 18-1 break and hold.
Yeah, the future's been spicy. This whole market, though, has been very spicy. You said Apple. I was like, I like that range. We'll talk about that in a minute, but right now I am in another hopefully spicy range trend. I know earlier we were talking to Kyle Burdett about that 403.50 kind of area, potentially being an area of a double top for Microsoft. What I'm noticing, though, what I like at least from a range perspective, is we have these higher lows. What I wanted was I watched this a couple times before getting involved, and we kind of get into that 403 area, and we bounce right back up with the viciousness. I'm scalping about like 20, 30 pennies on this. We're getting close to my area of exit. I've noticed that we're making slightly lower highs, which is why I am not holding any piece of the dream. We have no dreams. We have reality. And reality here is I think Microsoft could be falling off the ledge a little bit here, so I want to be running out with any profits that I can quite literally scalp and scrape out of this guy if we still have a little bit of an opportunity here. I'm going to change my point of exit a little bit because I think we're getting a little bit dicier than I was thinking we would be getting, and that's okay. You got to switch the style up sometimes. If they hate, then let them hate. Watch the money pile up. Says 50 cent. This will not be a 50-cent trade, though. This will be about a 20-cent trade, but you got to do what you got to do. I do think we're curling down, though. That being said, like initially I did get in because I thought we had that support. Looks like that area that we have coming into support is getting a little bit lower and lower with each touch, and that's what makes me a bit nervous here. So yeah, I think Kyle Burdett, you could definitely be right about this 403.50 area getting spicy. If we have the decisive break of 403 support, I'm going to be getting out of here. Also, Nessa saying hi in the chat. Hello, Nessa. Thank you for joining us here.
Hello.
Yeah, Apple. I was going to look at Apple. That's what I was going to look at. Because I know you said range, and I was like, range.
Hello, range.
Yes, we know. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Sorry, I got really excited there. This is gorgeous. Okay, let me draw. Bottom here is going to be roughly that 169.49 area. Top of this is going to be, actually, we have another top of this, so we're going to expand that. Top of this is going to be roughly that 170 area. You have about $1 of movement. Right now we're at 169.48, so I want to kind of wait. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's not even 169. I guess it's like, it is closer to 169.48, so it's about 50 cents of range here. Looks like we're curling up off that bottom. I'm going to be watching what we do here in the book and the chart for the appropriate point of entry before diving in all willy-nilly on this trade. Right now, Microsoft looking like it's trying to stay going above that 403. Of course, I would be pleased as punch as it does. If it does, seeing as I am in a long. Also interesting, though, what's kind of stagnant is Meta. Look at how we are just hanging out at that 497. Meta's like, yeah, I mean, I could move, but like also, I don't want to. That's what I said, too, is I was waiting for that break above to see what we did around that 9 EMA area before I did anything with Meta. I'm very happy I waited because what is this? Like, this stock has not gotten a move on. I want to see if it's any of a different look on the 5-minute. I have switched to the 3-minute chart, by the way, and I want to say why, because I think for my scalping purposes, sometimes it's a bit helpful to have a shorter time frame chart. I don't like the 1-minute because I find I'll get too caught up in really small term patterns, but I like the 3 because the pattern wise, it's a little bit closer to the 5-minute, but it does have a bit shorter term movement for me to scalp off of. So that's why I like the 3 as of right now. This Meta, though, on the 5 still looks very chop and churn. I also find it interesting, though, that we can't break above that 497.50 on anything beyond a wick basis. Let's see if we kind of pick up here. Looks like Meta's really trying to break the door down, but I would be waiting for a closing candle above that 9 EMA because this does not instill me with much confidence in either direction. Looks a little bit uncertain, a little bit wishy-washy, and we don't want to get involved in any wishy-washy trades on a day where the market is giving us so much to offer, including APM, apparently. Look at this chart here.
Unreal, Adara. This thing popped up big there into that $16.79 high. Yes, Neil, I mean, it's not. Here comes 16 again, Neil, at 15, but you know how these are going to be. They're going to be spready and insane, and here we go. Here comes the high of day. We're locked in at 16.50. Could we see the new high of day through that 79s? I mean, oh, wow. It's just, you can't punch, I can't punch any at these levels. I'll get in trouble if I do that. So, especially if it goes against me. I can continue to watch it though. This is a fantastic move up. I was really hoping for that 12-ish level, 12 and a third level. That was the halt level. I wanted that level to come in so we could take a possible dip trade off that. Sometimes I chart the halt levels as key areas of support and resistance, but this one looks like it's poised to break that high day. And there it goes, Adara. 1750 now, the high a day. This thing is absolutely flying up now over 1,000%. Let's see 2,000 today, baby. APM, yes, hope and victory, 1,000% plus. This one's got all the legs. It's putting in a topping tail candle right now on the 5-minute look, but that doesn't mean it's going to close that way. This could absolutely keep going. Double top on the NQ. Someone said, look, I've been watching this 18.1 break. Now we want to see if it's going to hold above 18.1. I'm very interested in a futures trade here, especially if we can do the wick shimmy dance from the north side of 18.1. Going to have to pack our patience here, but it looks as if that we were going to take that because of the way that we bounced off VWAP and reclaim that 100-point level again. Let's not guess. Let's participate. Let's see what happens here, Dara.
Yeah, we do not want to participate. We do not want to anticipate. We want to participate. Yeah. Anticipation gives you ideas, but it does not give you action, which is what we want here in trading. We want to be. We want all that smoke, as you were saying, and I know Neil, I believe, was also saying it earlier. We do want all the smoke as traders, or in my case, someone learning how to trade every day. Also, I think it's interesting too that we have APM up 1,000%, because what was running a little bit earlier was Tempest. Now, why I bring up Tempest is because if anyone recalls those the massive when we had that one that moved up 3,000% back in October, that was Tempest, and it brought a whole bunch of larger cap runners with it. Today, it's only up 10%, and the volume here is kind of met. But I just thought it's interesting that this one decides to run the same day that Tempest is attempting to run here. But as you can see here, Tempest started that day below $1. We got as high as 11 plus, closed at 9, and then continued its normal small cap life of tiny little daily moves. But I just thought it was really funny that Tempest is going a little bit on a day that another 1,000 plus percent mover decides to run, just because I'm someone who finds patterns kind of interesting. So I thought that was cool. Meta popped, and a little bit here. Oh, I'm on the daily here. Meta popped slightly here, but it's kind of hanging back down to that 498. Looks like we could have lower highs. Like I said, I'm not interested in this until I see a pattern beyond lower highs and higher lows, because I don't like compression patterns, especially with the stock as spready as a meta, because if this thing gets stuck, you cannot really have the liquidity to wiggle your way out of this trade. You're going to be a little bit chopped up, and that's not something we want, of course. That's not the kind of smoke we were looking for. Also, Microsoft did break that flat top, and I was not involved, but you know what? I had to minimize my level of risk there, so I got out. I did switch it up. Also, shout out to Opland Realty Group saying in the chat, it's actually Lloyd Banks who said that go ahead, switch the style up, as apparently 50 cents points out in that verse. So shout out to that. I do know it from Into Club. But we're not into any dollar club, though I know Sean was earlier. He said he got out of AMD, and he's now, Apple is his new victim, is what Sean said. So, and I think also from a short perspective, I'm kind of interested if we get into that 170 and reject again. Look at these levels. These levels tell me, Apple rejecting 170 could be interesting. We're down on the day, which means that, generally it does lean a little bit short. If we see a lower high here as well, maybe we'll have the flat bottom break. So I'm going to be watching Apple, see what we do at 170. It does have a spot on my side chart, so it will be something I constantly have my eye on. Also on my side chart, getting a little bit spicy, is, it's funny they keep saying spicy when I can't even tolerate spice. So it's kind of a weird analogy for me to use. But IWM, I think, is kind of interesting. We're coming into a double top area. Not something I want to short until I have more confidence to do so, because one of the big things, too, that someone said to me in the chat once as well is, these are going to rely less on chart movements and more on the book. For me, when I trade these ETFs, what I like to look for is a combination of price movement and chart movement. And then if you see some kind of confluence there, that's when you can get involved. We have an upward trend. Oh, there we go. Shout out to Obi. We do have an upward trend, but also the way that we were rejected massively off that 206 is kind of interesting to me. If we bounce off the 9 EMA, it's still an upward trend to me. If we fail, that's where things get a little bit interesting. But Sharif is excited here looking at this NQ.
Just took a nice trade on the future. No big deal, no big deal. Back in Positivesville, so happy about that. I didn't get the trade that I wanted, though. I had a nice trade set up at 18,105, and it didn't make its way back down there. I wanted the dip trade to get a better DCA. Instead, I just punched in size, and then I took about 5-6 points or whatever. Not a big deal, but pleased about it. But NVIDIA heading to highs. Tesla's curling back into 178. Softies broken through 404. Shout out to Kyle. I know Kyle's looking at that 404 for possible short. AAPL coming back into VWAP, and this has given the future a little bit of legs here to break through and hold above 18.1, and that's what we were looking for there. But again, we could find weakness as. Say again, Neil? Neil says NYCB, New York Community Bank Corp, which we all know has had issues with their finances, is halting. Shout out to Neil. Thank you for that. Let's pull that bad boy up. NYCB is the ticker. And that's a daily chart, so you get an idea of what it's been doing as of late. It's an ugly, ugly looking daily chart there, Adara. And it is halted now at $2.89. Very interesting look, because we still haven't broken through yesterday's low, Adara and Neil both, because we have a double bottom here at 275. I don't know if you earmarked that level, Neil, at 2 3/4, not just yesterday's low, but the previous day's low as well. So 2 days in a row, that general 270, 275-ish area on New York City Bank has held. We're awfully close to that level right now, having been halted at $2.89. If we do get back into 275, this could be a rinse and repeat style trade. Again, practice appropriate risk management strategies here to keep your stop, a couple of shekels south of that general area. We're going to keep eyes on NYCB to see what this bad boy is up to. Let's look here quickly on the blotter. Anything happening? I'm seeing all the circuit breaker stuff. You got it?
Neil said something
Neil said in the chat.
Wall Street Journal saying or reporting that New York Community Bank Corp seeks raise equity capital.
It is.
Thank you so much to Neil for putting that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Neil. We always, well, we don't always need, but I like to have explanations, guys. With respect to the reason. So NYC buffeted by fears over potential real estate loan losses, weakness in its internal controls, and a sharp drop in stock price has dispatched bankers to gauge investors' interest in buying stock in the company. People familiar with the matter said, and they're looking obviously to raise up some capital here as they have issues with their what's it called? Commercial real estate portfolio. They own a lot of rent-controlled buildings in New York City. Neil knows about this. They're the number one in terms of rent-controlled exposure in New York City. And what you have is basically a ceiling on how much you can adjust for inflation because of the rent control issue. And that's keeping some of their assets a little bit down. No one wants to invest in them, and they're seeing issues with respect to that. So we're going to have to keep eyes here on NYCB, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange like many banks do. Is it open? No, it's still halted at 289, excuse me. Keeping eyes on this. Let me tell you guys the tap real quick. Let me see if flat. Yeah, we might not have the tap because it's New York stock. Yeah, I don't have tap on this bad boy. So we're going to have to wait and see what we get here. But great look up. Big Cal Burdette. Microsoft got all my short orders on that unexpected pump. Going to have to take my L at 405. You take your licks, Kyle. When you take your wins, you take your wins. When you take your L's, you take your L's. All shout out to you, my man. At least you stuck with the trade and that you saw it through. Because I know that Sean was talking to Patty and I back there, Big Patty Ice, by the coffee machine. And Sean was dropping hot lines, as he typically does when he's back there and he sees some traders. And he's like, look, man, what are you doing here on the floor if you're not going to take the risk? There's no point coming here, dilly-dallying. You're here to make money and you're here to put on risk. So even if you get shut down, at least you put on the risk, the trade that you believed in. So shout out to you, Kyle. I'm sure there'll be way more dubs coming your way in the future. Yeah,
I mean, I certainly also was that intentional, saying in the future, and also the future.
Of course, and I did actually notice it this time. You're augmenting my mind, Adara.
Augmenting.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It makes me feel so powerful.
I'm starting to think in terms of puns here. What's going on? Just joking.
I mean, I'm not complaining. Apparently, it was like an evil supervillain levels of excited about that. But yeah, so this Tesla here, I like this area. Now I'm getting a little bit nervous because we're holding this fairly well, but we're having a really hard time decisively breaking above that 178. We break above it, we say nah. I also like this because these highs are slightly lower. If you kind of squint here, we have that 178 10 area, 178.95. Then we kind of get into that 178.80. What I like here too is I like that we have lower lows. Thanks. Low here at 177, low here at 176.20. You had that. You were killing that Tesla short earlier as well. And I think this Tesla short is a nice look here. I like that we're having a really hard time with that 178, and I like that the lows are lower. That being said, given my style of trade, i.e. very rangy and based on previous levels, I like that we had resistance becoming support at that 177, so I will probably be out around then. Still gives me about 85 pennies, so not too shabby and nothing I will be complaining about too much. Thank you very much for Mahmood mentioning here, or Mahmood, apologize, pronouncing that incorrectly. We do have IWM, apparently that short now worked. Well, I should have been keeping a better eye on this. Wow, okay, I was watching here what we did at the 90 MA, which was around 205.80. Now we're at 205.30. Congrats to you in that short. I should have been keeping a better eye on this. Boom, to the downside goes the small cap. Yeah, not too much of a positive hustle there for the Russell 2000. Also, though, Apple taking its sweet time, but attempting to get back up into that 170 area. I'm not getting involved in this until I see a 170 rejection. And right now, we are having a little stumble over to 170. Anyway, it looks like actually we might be curling a little bit lower than expected. That 169.75. Now, for a short thesis, a lower high is not a bad thing either, right? So this could still have something for me, but it does make that range a little bit smaller than the one I was initially intending to jump around in. I will be waiting a little bit here. I want to see a little bit more oomph, a little more pep in the step before getting involved in this short. Tesla, though, curling up above here. I want to wait for that 178, see that 178.50, 178.30 rejection. If not, I'm going to have to get out here, but I'm going to be watching to see what we do, because that break above certainly cramps the style of the short just a skosh. Although, as I say that, we're curling back right back towards 178. We call it stressful for a reason. It's always going to give you a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun, and certainly keeping us awake and alive and focused here in these markets is Tesla. As always, how are you doing over here? That looks like a small cap.
It is. It's APM.
Oh, there.
Yeah, you could tell just by how parabolic it was moving. You didn't even need to look at the ticker. It's trying to hold at 14 right now. The level that I was looking at was the halt level. Again, 12 1/3 is the level that I'm looking for here, but it doesn't really care what I'm looking at. It seems like there's a couple of wicks off 13, so 13's been defended twice, but the real level that we're at the moment is 14. It's still a downward trend off that top at 17.5. It's been lower high, lower high, lower high, consecutively lower highs. Maybe not necessarily all the lower lows through 13, but keeping my eye on that. This one, unless I get like an A+ setup on this, I'm likely not going to take it on the day. I don't want to go into Redsville, but it's a fantastic looking name, and I'm getting all sorts of FOMO just looking at it. So, yeah, I wanted to mention that. Tesla, though. Tesla, I do have to agree with you, Adara, and I do like your short on that. I know you're a couple of pennies out of the money, but Tesla was never going to give you that exact hold at 178. It's far too volatile to give you that exact hold. It's going to be a general area. That's why that needs to influence your stop placement. I like where this is going. I think this is kind of like Apple on the day, where you're getting multiple rejections and bounces off key levels. It's been more rejections off 170 and 178 here on Apple and on Tesla. We'll talk more about that and other range trades as well as breakout trades when we get back from the lesson of the day with Anil.
Welcome to your lesson of the day. It does not have to make sense. It's just got to make dollars. Make dollars, not sense. And I'm talking about SENSE. Like, you don't have to always understand what is happening in the market and why. You've got to follow price action. As a trader, your job is to make positive trades, not to sit and explain away why the market is moving in a certain direction, why a stock is moving in a certain direction. Leave that to talking heads and analysts who want to sit and explain those things away. Hey man, I got an economics degree, and I'll sit there and be like, I have no idea why this stock is doing this, but look at the price action. You've got to respect it. Mother Market does not care what you think. Mother Market does not want to hear your explanations. Mother Market wants to move wherever Mother Market wants to go. Now, before we dive into this, there is a big difference between having some kind of a catalyst for a trade and trying to explain the reason something is going to happen, right? Now, I like trades that have catalysts. Why is a catalyst good? Palantir had a contract this morning, so it was gapped up. That is a catalyst. Catalysts are good because there's more eyes on the stock. Then you've got a little bit extra volume. You want that. You want volume, volatility, price action, all that fun stuff. That's great. That's what makes you interested in the stock in the first place. But just because there's a positive catalyst and a chart looks like this on Palantir when you sit down in the morning, gap up, got another Army contract, it's absolutely flying. Does that mean that the stock should only go up today? Is that how the market works? Of course not. Now, does it make sense that something that gets a big contract and as a positive catalyst is going to do a big sell-off like that? Now, to some people, we've seen Palantir do this before, so I was patient with longs. The answer might be yes. But it doesn't matter. If you think the stock should only go up because of the positive news, do you think it makes a difference if you're trying to buy it all the way back in? No, of course it doesn't matter. Because the market as it falls doesn't care about the rationalization. Is it falling because people are taking profit? Is it falling because the actual value of that contract, blah, 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 when you look at future cash flows is not significant? Who cares? I don't care. Let analysts try to figure that price out a little bit later. When you're day trading, the only thing you can do is recognize what is happening. So when I'm looking at that trade, I like the 52-week high, which was 25.50. My thesis was if it could hold that, I think it's good. We had a couple of good bounce trades, 25 to 60, 25.5 to 26 even. Second time, it was lower high than got out. It then tried to hold a technical bottom off the opening range, took a long there, didn't work. And every single time I'm willing to stop out. When it finally did not hold a previous low and continue the trend down, I got out of the trade. Now it comes all the way back roaring up. So great. I mean, if you somehow, for whatever reason, like 24.5 or whatever those prices are, fantastic. You have to have a technical or a trade edge reason to be taking a trade. Because you cannot be only going long because it's good news. I'm just going to go long. I'm just going to go long. Because yes, this ended up bouncing, but you know who else had good news today? A little cybersecurity company, they're not really that little, CrowdStrike, had big earnings, good guide, gapped up huge. So I showed Palantir first for obvious reasons. There was an eventual long if you just stuck with the direction of the news in Palantir. But if you simply came in and said, I don't understand why Crowd is going lower, they had a good guide, I'm going long. Lose, 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 lose. Maybe you caught a few bounces in there, but you've essentially just been getting rinsed on CrowdStrike if you wanted to stick to trying to understand mother market here. Now it's trying to fill in a gap. You could have arguments about, oh, it's people taking profit. You could be right about that. But it doesn't matter. Try to trade based on actual setups and actual edge, and don't get wrapped up in a thesis as to why something should or shouldn't be happening. It's not your job as a trader to figure out why the market does what it does. It can help you to have confluence in a trade. Now, if I have an idea on CrowdStrike saying this stock is at all-time highs, it's pressed too far, I think it's overbought, this is the technical breakdown for a gap fill that I'm trading, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. And it gives you an explanation along with your technicals. But the second that turns out to be invalid, listen to the market. If you don't listen to the market, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Never, never rationalize your trades. Because if you sit there rationalizing your fighting of a trend based on a thesis, those are usually going to be your worst days. Now, CrowdStrike, maybe it catches a bid, maybe it doesn't. I got a question today, and actually this was one yesterday as well, on Alphabet. And it was, why is Alphabet so weak? There was news with regards to Alphabet, and Meta as well, Snapchat, they're all moving pretty large, simply based on a potential TikTok ban coming through again. Now, this stock was an absolute rocket ship when that happened. Like, it was super, super strong, and it looked like it was gapping higher and gonna break it back out here. That's what it looked like was going to happen on Google. The news story gave it some strength. It had a continuation. The market was strong. The market's going higher as we speak, and Google's down at the bottom. I was a believer in that. I literally bought Google in my personal account. based on that. Well, I bought it off the level and based on that information. Today, the literal opposite happens in Google. So as a trader, what am I doing? Ho-hum, I'm going to look for shorts because it's relatively weak. I don't care if the market's breaking out. If I'm going to lose on a short, I want to short a weak name. And even though I thought that news was a positive for Google and Meta and Snapchat, it doesn't matter. The market is telling you that this is still a weak stock and you've got to try to treat it as such. So try to make dollars, not cents. Worry about explaining it after. You know what? That's for your train ride at home. When you're sitting around having a beer after all the profits that you've made or whatever you happen to enjoy, then you can think about the explanations for why the market did what it did or why a stock did what it did. While you're sitting in your chair hitting keys and making trades, your only job is to understand why things are moving and why you should get in or out of a specific trade. Technicals, fine. Indicators, fine. Trends, fine. But do not try to overthink it. You are never going to be able to explain something as complex as the market and why it moves. So why bother trying? Your job is to make dollars, not make sense of the world. That's your lesson of the day, and that's the real deal.
Someone's gotta take these sayings from Neil, man. He's coming up with different sayings all the time. Your job is to make dollars, not cents of the trade. I mean, that's just so perfect. Shout out to Neil, eloquent, informative, and amazing as always. I was trying to look for another word. I took a small trade here in NKGN, another small cap gapper in triple digits today, 288%. I want to show you why I got into this trade, and then we'll show you on the actual trading screen. So a hell of a hammer candle here on the 5-minute chart. This is one of those ones where Adara, when she says, no, you don't, and when I say, no, you don't, this is what we mean by buyers telling sellers, no, you don't. We're bringing it right back up. Like, look at that. It spent all of 1 second down below $3. Punched in at that 3 general area, and then we wet our beak through the break of 20 and 20 and 30. So I'm pumped about that NKGN trade, small cap gapper, and it's definitely still tradable on the day. So please just punch about that. But the one that I'm more disappointed on is the trade on the futures over here. It did have a bit of a consolidation range between 812 and 813 before it really got going here during Neil's lesson of the day. Now we broke through easily through that 18130, excuse me, top, and now we're on our way to 18160. In fact, we have a high a day of 164.5 on the future. So pumping up big. So I started looking. I'm like, all right, well, what's pumping the futures here? Well, Apple just broke through that key 170 level, so it's pumping up. Meta is also north of VWAP as well. It just tried to touch 500 again. Amazon also breaking through 175. Nvidia always near highs. Always near highs. Tesla even doing the dance again with 178. And Google was kind of dead money today, hanging out at that 131 thereabouts. Now pumping back up into 131 3/4. But it's really been softy here with the V-shaped recovery off that 398 1/3 bottom. Now we're knocking the door of that 406. Well, not really. We just broke through 405. So the market finding strength here. Let's see what the cybersecurity names are up to, because I'm disappointed with my PanW trade so far on my personal account. Yeah, PanW still taking on the chin. CrowdStrike's down 7 1/3, 7.5 since the bell rang. Still up 12 off yesterday, but the cybersecurity names are all selling off really aggressively lately, and I really haven't understood as to why. With Crowd coming in with a really better than expected report. PanW was the one that reported less than expected. Zscaler killed it, and it sold off like $40. So I'm not really understanding too much about why we're pulling back in cybersecurity world. We'll have to wait and see what information we get on that, Adara.
Yeah, it's really strange. I also want to say, too, I thank you so much to Neil for the lesson. They always are the real deal, for sure. And I think, great that we do get to have these lessons. But also one thing that I thought was really interesting is it really echoed my experience as someone who's new to trading and new to the market. So as Neil said, you can have CrowdStrike with the earnings peak. We had that massive gap up and then just kind of peters out throughout the day, right? I'm going to pull up CrowdStrike as Neil did with that lesson. And I think why I think this is a good example too, because I remember when I first started, I was kind of thinking like, oh, well, if something gaps up, it must be a long. Oftentimes it's actually not the case because it runs out of steam, right? And it also, too, I remember I would ask, like, I think I asked Brendan around when I started, like, hey, like, how long do these names usually run after earnings? And he's like, well, there's no rule. You know what I mean? The market is going to move things how it chooses to move things, and the market does what the market does. And I think basically, I think that CrowdStrike example kind of reminded me of that as well. It kind of cemented that for me as well. Just that the market, as Neil said, it doesn't have to make sense as long as it makes you dollars. And I think being cognizant of what happens is really important, but also not relying too much on, oh, well, the news event was positive, so why are we reacting this way? And I think you'll always be aware of the news because it can make 100%. These impacts we don't quite expect. But it's also, it's not a be-all, end-all, and the market and market participants are going to do what they do. A lot of times what I find, too, is the news events will put the eye on the stock, and the market participants will end up reacting in a different way, right? Yeah. I think sometimes that's the case as well. We had TripAdvisor earlier coming out here. Bloomberg, this guy spiked on volume here. Bloomberg was like saying, it was Bloomberg saying that, Apollo might be interested in some kind of deal with Trip. We pop up on that one candle, and then we peter out for the rest of the day, right? But the volume's still up above 2 mil. Also, this range is actually kind of spicy. Too bad it's only like 2 cents. But I like this range here from that, like 20 cents, that 26.9 to that 27.10, kind of an interesting range. But yeah, that's the...
Did he really say that? Reinforces that he's not ready to cut interest rates? Then why do we have a dot plot then? What the hell's going on?
But yeah, no, they don't want to do it too early. That was his big thing that he said. That was kind of I think they're like probably summarizing it a little bit too intensely in that CNBC article.
Yeah, they need to sensationalize to get the clicks. Guys, NKGN is going here. Here we go. This one just double topped at the high of day, so careful here. That 377 is the high of day, rejecting off that 377. But I have an inkling this one is going to go. NKGN, big push up. You could tell that dip below 3 was a specialist breakdown where they push the price, market makers, algos, whoever it is, somebody that with a big account, pushed this price, got all the longs out, then pushed it right back above 3. And here we go. Probably going to touch 4, 317, 320% now. NKGN. This is all the while APM starting to pull back. And that's the fickleness of the small cap gapper trader, myself included. Once one starts giving up the ghost, forget about it. I don't even remember the ticker. Wayne was asking me what the ticker was on APM. I couldn't even remember. It means so little to me, the names of these things, but the chart patterns I'll remember quite intently anyway. So as soon as one starts pulling back, the other one starts going. So NKGN, really the one here that's moving. We got a new high a day, $3.87. This is on its way to $4, it looks like. I don't think we looked at the short float on NKGN, so probably do that now. Here we go, NKGN. Oops, NKGN. There we go. All right, so 7.1 million float. Let me just double check that with my platform. So I have 8.6 on mine. Trade Ideas has 7.1. All right, whatever. I don't want to say negligible short float, but only 3.83% of the float is shorted, so nothing really to write home about there. So NKGN looking awfully good here. This might be an interesting area to get into because this was kind of the double top at that 377 area. So if we hold this area, well, then it's a previous area of resistance, should act as a level of support, but it looks like it may want to turn back a little bit now. The other small cap gapper that I didn't mention and that we had from yesterday, and that's not making waves today on any scanners, but the price action looks fantastic, is AV. This was an earnings winner from the 4th, I believe. This one in the aftermarket was $130. It popped up into 157. It continued yesterday, making a high of 171. The high today in that 181 area. So this one continuously increasing its price ever so slowly and really giving you good opportunities here off the 10 EMA. So if you're looking to base a dip trade on the 10 exponential moving average today anyway, AV, it's paid off for you guys. One that's a holdover from my small cap capper chart yesterday. Are you still holding Palantir long? Okay, because it's at $26.50. What a move up. Like, look, I took a big L on Palantir in the morning. When the Katina man was in it, I was in it at the same time. Obviously, he's got a much larger shutdown than me, so I had to basically practice risk management skills here, so I had to get out of this one, and I'm negative on it. And I feel like I've gotten bottom wick on this bad boy, to be honest with you. Well, it didn't hold 25. I had to draw the line somewhere, and now it's at 26.5 bucks. It's at day's highs. So Palantir absolutely recovering, a V-shaped recovery, breaking the pre-market high, setting up new highs, and we're definitely at local highs here, at least for a little while, for the past couple of weeks here and there.
Yeah, I think it was 52-week highs is what I was seeing on the big desk there for PLTR.
Right.
Yeah, that one I find is really hard to trade because it is kind of like a smaller kind of cap name, but it moves like wild. Like the kind of the one trade I had in that was there was a short flat bottom break last week on Friday. That was kind of spicy, but even then I only took it because it was so rangy. It was
right.
Like, you know, my cup of tea, right? So really I find Palantir to be kind of an outlier because it's an AI name and it trades like an AI name. Do not let that $25 stock price fool you.
Honestly.
Also, Microsoft I have my eye on because I like these little bounces off that 9 EMA. Again, a level that I'm trying to be less reliant on, but beyond that, like I just think that we do have this kind of clear move up. We had that gorgeous flat top break of 403.50 that I was here for and then left before it happened. But you know, as Sharif says, you're always going to be upset as a trader. You just got to brush it off your shoulder and keep moving on. I didn't have any losses on this, so cannot be too disappointed. Also, we did get out of Tesla. We broke above that area. I was looking for that that 178.30. We had made a newer high off that pop. I said I had to leave. We are negative on this name, but I'm happy I got to take some profit out here earlier. Probably should have taken out everything here, been a little bit more scalpy, but it's okay. You know, learning a little bit from the trades, and of course, always happy to learn with every single trade, or at least that's the goal. That's what we're trying to go for here. But yeah, that's the take with this one. And also IWM curling back up here. I think shout out to Mahmoud saying that you were in on this short, and that. Great look here. I was watching for the short, completely dropped the ball, and that's completely my fault. I want to see though here too, because I don't know what direction I'd go in this because we do have the pseudo triple. We look like we could be forming a triple top at 206, but we also have higher lows. And again, also it's worth noting that we're up on the day about 103. So generally that kind of suggests this could break to the upside in IWM. Either way, keeping an eye on it, always looking for scalp opportunities. That's what I like to do in this market. But also, we like to talk about shorting into a decline.
Yes, we
which
do.
we will be doing for the next round of our lesson.
It's funny how DWAC is down 10% after Super Tuesday. I kind of almost expected that for us to run aggressively before Super Tuesday. What is Funware at? I'm just going to start the lesson.
Funware's pretty bad too.
Is it? Yeah, 23.5%. It was
desk.
always like a sell the news type event. I feel like that was just so telegraphed. Anyway, yeah, obviously Super Tuesday yesterday ended up with everything in Trump's hands, save and except for Vermont. I figured, we would run up on Funware and DWAC, but it was a sort of a sell the news event. All right, let's get to the lesson of the day. We're talking about shorting into an active decline, like yesterday essentially was. It's a momentum-based stock, so you're following the trend in this case. So let's talk a little bit about understanding the strategy. So obviously involves short selling, a stock that is already experiencing a downtrend, and we're looking for a downtrend here with strong momentum. The underlying assumption on this trade is that the decline will continue, allowing you obviously to repurchase the instrument, the stock, whatever you're shorting at a lower price and profit from the difference. So why would you want to short sell into an active decline? Well, obviously, if the price is moving aggressively to the downside, you stand to make quick profits. Obviously, not something that you always want to champion here. You want to champion process before quick profits, but that's the truth of the matter. When you have strong momentum to the downside, if you punch in short, if it continues to go your way, you're going to make some good money quite quickly. But it's also to capitalize on the strong sell-off sentiment. So you're going with the trend, right? If market's red or that particular instrument is red, you're not trying to pick bottoms or call tops. You're just going with it and you're seeing what it will give you. So this strategy aligns with the existing bearish momentum and the heightened selling pressure that is already existent there in the market. So how do you identify these opportunities? So I'm going to suggest to you that there should be 3 steps that you should look at. The first step is look for an instrument that is in a downtrend. So you're looking for technical indicators and chart patterns, whether it's moving averages pointing downwards, something trading below VWAP, consistently lower highs and lower lows, heavy volume that's red on the volume bars, you're looking for confirmation that there is a downtrend and not just zigzagging a little bit up, a little bit down, all right? So that's step one. Step two, employ momentum indicators like RSI, like MACD. If you don't know what those are, go to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV and use that search function to type them in. There's going to be plenty of videos that will catch you up to speed on what MACD and RSI is. So MACD, just for all our novices out there, moving average convergence divergence, is an acronym. Likewise with RSI, stands for the relative strength index. And what you're looking for here is to see whether the stock is in overbought territory. So the RSI, simple, it has a scale from 0 to 100. Anything above 70 is typically said to be overbought, below 30, oversold. Not the way I use it, but one of the ways that you could use it. And you're looking for here something that's obviously above 70. You're looking for that oversold territory. And then the third consideration is you have to judge whether this particular instrument and where it's currently trading at allows you a good entry point. Is it too far past your entry point for you to get in? You always see me deliberating, oh, should I get in? It's after my entry point. It's above my entry point. So you have to consider entering short during periods of increased volatility or downward price gaps, suggesting obviously a continuation of the decline. Now, with respect to where you want to wet your beak on some profits, you need to do some charting. You need to look at the instrument that's moving down. You need to look at that key level of support, that next level of support. Where is it at? Is it 165 on Apple? Is it 160 on Apple? ID that key area of support below the current price and look to take profits in and around that area, right? So that is the 1, 2, 3 steps there. And now you always have to manage risk. And I can't say this enough on short selling. You need to use stop losses. No stop loss gang here. Place a stop loss order above either a recent swing high or a short-term resistance level. So you need to ID those levels on the chart before you get in the trade. And you want to place those stops so they automatically get your position out if the price unexpectedly rises. And you need to size accordingly, right? I used this example before on the earlier lessons with respect to short selling. If you have a rule that you've adopted that says, I'm not going to take anything I'm not going to take any one trade long that accounts for more than 5% of my overall account, you could consider doing maybe half of that for short. So max position, you could have a max position share size, a max position dollar value, a max position percentage of account, whatever method you choose to employ, make sure that it's a bit more stringent than the ones that you are employing for the longs. Riskier to short than it is to go long, okay? And remember, guys, again, highly risky strategy. Short selling can get you in a lot of trouble because the price can reverse course and there's an unlimited potential upside. That's more for swing traders and long-term investors than it is for day traders who have to be flat by the end of the day. And there's also the potential for a short squeeze. If you don't know what short squeeze is, again, go back to the YouTube page for Trader TV, use that short function, type in short squeeze, and you're going to get a plethora of videos that explain to you what a short squeeze is. But suffice it to say that when an instrument has a high short float, it has the potential to squeeze you up and start really moving high. Because when people get out of their shorts, they have to buy the stock back, and then that ends up causing double the buying. People are actually buying the stock, and then the people who were short it have to buy to get out. So figure out or apprise yourself as to what a short squeeze is, and do thorough research on the actual instrument and the sector itself. Figure out what macroeconomic conditions, what actual news headline can cause this bad boy to turn a positive and squeeze me out of my position. And the example that I gave before was interest rates and solar stocks. As soon as interest rate starts coming down, or we have wind from Papa or the General Fed that we're going to start getting some cuts here, likelihood is that we see these solar stocks start squeezing. I don't want to use that example over and over, but it's the one that's coming to mind. I'm sure there's many more applications of this example. Just make sure you understand what could send this north and what can send this south.
And I think the same too is sometimes there's like being cognizant as well, maybe of shorting these psychological levels. So I know this is a little bit of an example. It wasn't a downtrend, but we did have SMCI that a lot of people were trying to short at that 1,000 level because they were like, oh, what goes up must come down. That ended up actually being successful, but it's like, be cognizant. Something like that also does have over a 10% short float, right? So that's a little bit less of an active downtrend and more just kind of understanding, bouncing off of what you said there, the climate into which you are shorting, especially because shorting can be a little bit dicier. And also one thing too that I think is interesting to note, and this is one thing as someone who initially did not go short at all and was scared to go short the first couple of months that I started trading, it's sometimes I think a way that helped me look at it too, and someone in the chat as well said this, is look at it like flip the chart, like what you see that makes you want to go long, think about that when you're trying to go short. Do you know what I mean? Like same kind of principles should apply, although of course look for increased risk management, or increase your risk management and maybe decrease your position size just because shorts can get a little bit spicy, but other than that, just kind of using the same principles. So I thought that was interesting and I wanted to touch on that. Also, some question that I wanted to kind of ask here as well is, do you have a go-to indicator that you use or find the most helpful when you're looking for confirmation for entering this kind of trade? So like, I guess one indicator that will give you maybe the best sense of ongoing selling pressure?
I don't have one indicator. I use more price action.
That's fair.
Yeah, but the other one that I would be looking at is a short-term RSI. Personally, what I would be looking for is price action RSI divergence. We've talked a lot about that in the past. Look for higher highs or lower lows on the RSI. And then the opposite, or not the opposite, but you're not looking for it to jive with the price action. What do I mean by that? Kind of a convoluted statement. So if you were making higher highs on the RSI and then you're making lower highs on the price action, that should actually get your attention. Conversely, if you were making lower lows on the price action, but then you started making higher lows on the RSI, that could be a signal that the winds of change are coming, right? And so that's personally how I would use it. It's not how I use it as a day trader. When I look at my swing trades, that's when I use RSI, MACD. I don't employ them on a day trading basis. I tend to use more support and resistance and price action.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for answering those questions. I like to kind of have, the questions prepared because it is something, like I said, a bit more of a momentum strategy. Also, yeah, this, I think it was Roger in the chat saying your stop on SPY was too tight, just saying, and I mean, yeah. You know what, again, as Drew said, as a trader, you're always going to be mad. Honestly, the way I'm going to look at it is I took profit on this. I'm not going to complain. I had to scalp this because what I was noticing, too, is I got involved because we had this bounce. We have higher highs, higher lows. What made me nervous, though, is we were really struggling with that 511.90. We got into and we were making lower highs as well, too, watching this kind of chop and churn. I had to get out. We took a couple cents on this. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Can I say I'm incredibly proud? No. But I am happy that I took profit on this to some capacity, although, of course, to say I got out early would not be inaccurate because, wow, this is, yeah, this continued to move up here. But we did move down like crazy, too. Like, look at that topping tail candle as well, and that we get into 512. We pop up into that 512. 06, and then we kind of reject pretty heavily here. Not one that I want to get back involved in. Really, my interest in this was just I like that we had the dip opportunity. I wanted to take the dip. We did not have our beaks only got slightly damp here just because it wasn't much of a position to begin with. But I wanted to touch on this just because I think part of the learning opportunity too is like, why did you get into this trade? What did you see? Someone else as well was saying, like, just making sure that, we're taking advantage of the risk lesson. And I'm trying to do that. I think for me, even getting involved in the SPY trade was something I don't do a lot. So I'm just happy I took the opportunity. And again, trying to learn from every single trade. We ended up, we got out a little bit early, but we did take some profit. So I can't say I'm displeased, although I'm not pleased as punch. We're kind of a middle level thing here too. So yeah, so I'm okay with this. Also, some people mentioning NYCB. Neil's saying the top there is 186. 186 on NYCB. Yikes. Okay, let's see. Not a lot of bank there for NYCB, New York Community Bank. This is, oof.
Yeah, that's been tanking, Adara. And he called it out way earlier, too. I think he called it out at the first halt down. At $3, he's been calling it out at. Wow. So it's been tanking since he called it out.
Yeah, this is a rough look here. New York Community Bank down 25% on the day. Not a lot of good things to say about this. We had this pop up here, I guess, but oh, now it's halted news pending. So yeah, this is Certainly a bit of a rough look here on NYCB. Meanwhile, though, NVIDIA is acting like it does not know what downside is or means. And we see another pop up here on NVDA. We definitely broke that double top I was talking about earlier, that 890. We bounced. I think I was talking to Greg more about this in the chat, saying that this was a nice, he was saying it was a nice look at 880 or around that area. Totally called it. Should have gotten involved, did not, but this is a nice look. If we have another bounce off that 888, that could get a little bit spicy. I know also Kyle was calling, Big Kyle Burdett was calling out this, how NVIDIA somehow went from 666, 777 all the way to 888. NVIDIA is on something. I don't know what it is. I call it market steroids. But massive move up here for NVIDIA. I don't have a long in this right now just because it's a little too parabolic for my liking, just kind of thread my way in and out. We had this long earlier. That's kind of it for me. But yeah, looking for other opportunities.
They can market PEDs?
Yeah, I guess
Performance enhancing drugs?
I mean, you know, I don't know if it would pass a regulator here. If the regulator looks at this, they might be like, you got to do a test, you know?
Yep.
Also worth noting, Bears vs. Bulls mentioned this in the chat as well. So thank you very much for that. But saying that Fed Chair Powell, they are ending at 1, hard stop at 1. And the guy who was running the meeting actually noted that Fed Chair Powell looked very happy to hear that they were done at 1 today. So that's going to wind up in about 24 minutes. Fed Chair Powell. Right now, though, NVIDIA winding down a little bit, and the market giving you lots and lots of opportunities that I'm trying to take a little bit more advantage of over here.
What is this chart, Adara? Don't look at the name. Yeah, you can put my chart.
Is it?
You can put my chart, yeah. Oh.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Okay, good.
Well, I just saw it now. It's plugged.
Yeah, I didn't think you would figure that because Plug Power is always...
It got supercharged to the upside.
It is. It's a fantastic look today on Plug Power. Really surprised with this. What is a catalyst over here? Allowing Plug to pump up like this. Let's find out what Plug Power is doing on the day. And funny enough, I don't actually have a catalyst from today. Do I have anything from yesterday? I have something from the 5th. Yes. Okay. So there were several upgrades yesterday, maintained by HSBC as well. But I'm not really sure why this is up. Does anybody know why Plug Power is up? Anyway, it's 11.5%, 11.75. It's holding above 4. It initially had trouble breaking through $4. It's not giving you guys like a parabolic move or anything. But if you size in at these levels, there's plenty of liquidity to absorb the big orders, right? In addition to that, it's giving you up and to the right, higher highs, higher lows. So, you know, you could try to figure out where the dip trade generally is. Personally, I'd want to get in at around 402, 401 for maybe a bigger move up. Let's see if this one has any legs left. But yeah, fantastic look here on Plug Power on the day. Amir wants me to look at ALB, my second best trade. He says, yeah, I've been, ALB. I thought you meant APM. Let me have a look at ALB for you.
Albemarle.
Oh, you know this one. I like it.
I like knowing all the tickers.
I know. Albemarle. Okay, wow. Okay, 9%. Is this an earnings winner here?
Yeah, he said second day, which makes me think it has to be earnings, but maybe not. Oh, no. Okay, so they announced a $2 billion upsize offering of depository shares, up from 1.75 bill. So a cool quarter bill increase there for Albemarle.
Yes, thank you for that, Adara. Interesting here. They're going to use that money for corporate purposes, which may include, among other uses, they're saying growth capital expenditures, so CapEx. All right, and they're going to pay out some outstanding commercial paper, which is just another word for debt that they've raised. Fantastic look. Who was Amir? Fantastic look, Amir. Just for me, it's hard to get in at these levels because it's so extended. Where is that key support level that we could get in at? 117 strikes me as a good level. I know it's trading at 119, was almost at 120, but you don't really have a key area of support to get in. At least on my chart, until 117, and then maybe again at 115.50. That's owing to these two crests over here, which sold off and then were eventually broken. So that's a good look for you on that. It's his second best trade of the day, he says. I'm very happy for you. I hope you continue to print on it, but I'll keep an eye on it. It's a fantastic look, but can't punch in at these highs. Now, I've secured some shorts, thank you to the Katina man for this, on APM. Yes, I'm not shorting it at these levels, Adara, because it's above VWAP, and I would be very hypocritical having just told everybody don't short small cap gappers above VWAP and then getting it myself. But if this bad boy gives up the ghost at VWAP, I want all the smoke on this one. We'll see, especially too, if this $11 area holds. It's been having a lot of trouble bouncing off 11, and now it's technically putting in a bit of a lower high. That high initially here was 13.5. Now we're having trouble with 13. So lower highs and a flat bottom, we typically know what happens there. So gonna watch to see what kind of opportunities this bad boy gives us. But dude, that's where you short these crappers, Steve J. All right, brother. I mean, if that works for you, if you like to take them short north of VWAP, have at it. I got to set up some parameters for my trading, and that just happens to be one of them. But if that's how you print, I'm more than happy for you. Just I can't duplicate the same system. Or I'm unwilling to duplicate the same system based on my rules. Shout out to Amir. Now, ALB coming in nicely here, dipping below 18.5. So even though this one was rocketing up, does it give us that 117 dip that we were just asking for? Let's pack our patience and see.
Yeah, Alba snarl, I guess now we're kind of taking a snarl to the downside here. Also, Steve J saying, all good, my friend. So everyone there, everyone's going to have their own trading strategy, right? And so, and actually, with that in mind, Insurance Mama, I love that name, saying, can you check on SPY? Yes, I can. And this is an example, too, of like, this obviously I scalped this out too early, right? But the trade still worked out, so I can't be too disappointed. Watch it. We had that hold of 511.80, and then we flipped it to the downside here, rejecting a little bit. I'd like to see what we do here at that 558 area, because we were just saying everyone has their own strategy. I like, and this is also based on a lot of stuff I've learned here sitting with Sharif, resistance and support, how they flip and interact is really interesting to me. Again, I do try to rely on charting slightly less when it comes to these ETFs, because they are reliant on features that are nothing to do with the actual markets themselves. But I do think this is interesting. I think if we can hold here, it could be a little interesting, but it looks like we do have a sell-off here from that pseudo double top on the 3-minute at that 512. And I had this open when we rejected that, got above 512 and rejected, and we dropped about 20 pennies in a matter of seconds. That was a massive move. And yeah, continuing to fall off a little bit here on the SPY. Looks a little bit curved to the downside, and that reminds me, similar look here on Demonica in the chat was asking about Costco. And I took a look at Costco, and we're up on the day, but it looks a little bit like we might have a frowny face there. Shout out to Michael Nas at
the Nose Boss.
Right? There we are. NQ. Yeah, look.
I have a story about Michael Noss when you're done.
Oh, okay, I'm excited to hear it. But yeah, but now we have that that high here at Costco in the day, 775.15. We're seeing slightly lower highs though, I would say, a little bit curly here. Now we're just kind of hanging out right below that 9 EMA, curling back below here. I really like to see though what we do at 770. It coincides with VWAP right now, but that's not really why I'm interested. Why I'm really interested here is we had that a little bit as resistance earlier, that 770 area. I'd like to see what happens if we curl back down. Volume on this is below 1 million, so I'm not getting involved. The spread though isn't even that bad. It's about 25 cents, which is better than what we get in Eli Lilly some days. And Eli Lilly will often have better volume than Costco is seeing today. So not anything I have any reads on, but just an interesting look. I wanted to pull that one up for Demonica. They have earnings today, apparently, Costco. I didn't see that.
Huge.
Let me check. I thought they already had earnings. I
can look.
Check on this. So they're tomorrow after the market close.
Yes.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yes.
So the 7th. So yeah, thank you for that, B. Davis. Yeah, they're coming up on earnings for sure. Oh yeah, Costco earnings tomorrow. Okay, yeah, thank you for that, B. Davis. That's a good point. Because I forgot that they had not reported yet, so I think that's a nice look. Thank you so much to Jorge Bados for the $9.99 super chat. My brain. Thank you very much for that super chat. Jay Powell says that it's not necessary to reach 2% to start cutting interest, and that the data is indicating that everything points to interest cutting. That indicates that SPY will continue in a bull market. I like the little bull emoji. Thank you very, very much for that super chat. And yeah, I think generally the market hasn't reacted too harshly to any of the hot fire that has been spit by Papa Powell's mic and the mics of the other senators here during this meeting. And thank you to Monica for the $3 super chat and the little nail with the thumbs up. Much appreciated. Great day over here. Hopefully we're having some fun. I'd like to make a couple more trades that aren't 3-penny winners on the SPY, but we're going to have to see what happens. If that's what the market's telling me,
today, man.
That's what we're going to have to do.
You're hilarious. You made me laugh. Shout out to Amir. Yet again, shout out to Amir. He's dropping hot lines today, and he informed me, Adara, that we have an IPO. RYDE, Ride, new IPO. This bad boy started.
I know them.
You have something to say about this?
I just know the company.
Okay,
They have little. I might be wrong about the company. What?
Okay, so here's what the IBKR says. The company, through its subsidiaries, provide mobility and quick commerce solutions to its consumers. It's a tech-driven platform that offers mobility, quick commerce solutions to, I just read that. Company's core business is divided into two categories, mobility and quick commerce. How many times are we use the word quick commerce, or the phrase quick commerce?
I
Anyway.
like that phrase. I was also wrong, though. It's not the company I thought it was.
It's a great phrase, says Neil. I have to agree. It's done 2.17 million shares on the day. It's kind of, is it halted or is it just not trading? Give me a sec to look at this here over. Ride, Neil? It's on MX. Yeah, AM. It's not halted. It's just not doing any shares. At least it's not halted on my platform over here. So if it's not going to, yeah, now it's moving down to, it just printed to 470. I'm not trading this. Obviously, it's just not enough liquidity. But thank you for pointing it out, Amir. Always helpful to know when there are IPOs, especially because, well, it's been dry lately for IPOs. The story I want to give about the NOS boss is he's hilarious. You know exactly that he's all about the technicals. He doesn't give you know what about the fundamentals or the story or this, that, and the other.
Yes.
He's a technician. Now, Adara, he was commenting about Caterpillar. You know I'm involved in Caterpillar. I'm not going to say how much in the money I am because that's the thing now. But he was like, why is Caterpillar moving up on AI news? And he was kind of like, well, their construction, this is AI, what the hell does they have to do it? So I sent it to him. I'm like, they're building out data centers. That's what they're doing. And that's a new total addressable market, a new TAM for them, right? And so you know what he sent me back? Like some food company that did crypto a couple of years ago. So he was trying to troll me. He was trying to troll me, right? Exactly. It's not the same thing. I know Neil, exactly. I got this, I got the exact same idea as you, Neil. But the fact of the matter is, he's just trying to tell me a headline can come in there at a, what's going on? Yes, Ram. Excellent jacket you have on there, Ram. Excellent. Caterpillar.
Well,
love Caterpillar.
I love that too, because I was complimenting your jacket earlier. I didn't even see the logo. Look at that. Also, it's funny too. I see your story and I raise you a story. So Sean is kind of having me go through the comments on the podcast to see, fun questions he can ask Brendan on the podcast. And one of them was, why do you guys not talk about cat?
Okay.
Well, no, it's funny. So I have this question. Then they actually, Sean, and I send Sean the questions, whatever. And they have the podcast this weekend and they're talking about deer. Then Sean pulls up the question. He's like, I didn't even see this. One of these questions is, why do you never talk about cat? We just did. So we thought that was pretty funny there.
There you go.
I like that. The podcast this week was great. Also, it kind of made me think about the, being on this desk as well, because at one point, Sean and Brendan were talking about the value you can have from being with other traders and seeing trades.
Yeah.
And I think I get a lot of value being up here as well. Like sometimes you'll pull up a stock and I'll be like, the range on that, right? So,
absolutely.
Or like I'll see a small cap and be like, Sharif, this small cap. So I think it is a really great opportunity.
Absolutely.
Also, Manuel Palma was asking if the turtle is bullish. Her name is Trenda Tika, the trading turtle. So I would just say she's into trending tickers in any direction. So here she is. She
trends. Okay, her and I should be better friends. Given that I like to pretend that I'm a momentum trader, which is a trend trader by definition, Trend Tiga and I could get to know one another. Okay, well, very nice.
He's like, I never thought about you before. Also, though, Kyle Burdett was asking, what is Fed Powell actually saying? Because the chat's saying a lot of different things. He's saying a lot of stuff. Not all of the questions are actually related to monetary policy. There's a lot more about the office and any kind of data they're seeing. But I also think it's worth saying right now, some comments. We also have Fed's Daily starting at 12. Fed's Daily saying that we're waiting and watching economy to fine tune our decision making. That's a lot around what Powell has been saying as well. I have him in my ear, so he's talking to me while I'm talking to Sharif. He's Fed Powell's arguing for attention over here. But yeah, basically one of the main things as well that's kind of been said is that they're on track to cut this rate this year, but they need greater confidence on inflation before before cutting rates. So there's kind of a lot of echoing of stuff we've already heard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, too, I told Sharif one of the most interesting things I've heard, or at least one of the ones that had me most, was we had one of the senators asking, you know, my last question for you, Fed Powell, will you tell us when we've achieved a soft landing? Will we hear anything? And Fed Powell said, not from us, no, not from the Fed.
Yeah, you're not getting any letter from here, bro.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
They want everything presented them on a silver platter. That's not how economics works. That's not how the market works. Anyway, whatever. Long right now on Plug Power, looking for a 4 hold. If we can continue riding this trend for whatever reason it's riding. Small size here, long 406. We're at 405 right now. So a penny out of the money on Plug Power. But I want to shout out Big Kyle Burdett, baby, because he's dropping hot lines here in the chat. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Kyle. Sharif, if Nos Boss doesn't think Cat and John Deere are technology companies, he needs to go to a farm or a job site and see the technology. I don't think that's what he's saying, Kyle, but I get your point exactly. He's just like, he's trying to troll me to basically show me when the crypto, when everybody wanted to become a crypto company, just like, you know, last year when everyone wanted to be an AI company, you threw AI in your little description, or you released a press release with we're switching to AI, this, that, and you popped up like 30%. Who remembers that from last spring? I do. So we'll see how AI adjacent is Caterpillar. So we're going to watch. And Caterpillar's been flying up. Anybody that is involved in that is please as punch. I'm one of them. So let's continue to watch this. Now, Adara, what we got here on ALB is we got a nice retracement. So shout out to Amir for pointing out Albemarle. How do you say it? Albemarle?
Albemarle.
Albemarle, which is a lithium play, obviously. This is one of Alfred's holdings here. He likes this and Piedmont. Yeah, eh?
Well, I said to Neil when you were talking about it, I said, I think that's an Alfred.
Yes, it is an Alfred name. Shout out to the Katina man who knew. He likes this one, Newmont, and some others as well for lithium, cobalt mining. We know where that's going, EVs, cell phones, etc. Anyway, this is the area that I like, Amir, and I mentioned it earlier, that 117 area. If we can come down into 117 is an interesting area to watch, only because that's where we topped off at initially, pulled back a little bit into that low 116 area, then we broke 117 with, as Adara likes to say, the viciousness. So if we come back into that level, I'll be watching it for possible area of support. But the one that I'm involved in at the moment, and we're 3 pennies out of the money now, is Plug Power, watching for a forward defend here, Adara.
Yeah, no, I think, well, it's too interesting. Yeah, Albemarle is a very interesting look. I think, you know, if we kind of hold that up, because it's holding up really well, that could be.
Yeah.
I always love when stuff gets brought up in the chat and then you look at it and you're like, oh, this is a cool chart. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the benefits of being in this community. You see a chart, you like it, and you make movements.
Bank.
I should have been shorting the SPY here because we keep failing this one, 511.60, keeping an eye on it. Don't want to rush into this, but if we have another rejection around this area, we keep seeing lower lows, I'll be scalping up into previous areas here. We're going to have to see what we do. Also, speaking of AI with regards to Cat and Deere, Fed Powell actually talking about AI as well, and saying that they are kind of, you know, aware of AI, and artificial intelligence is very challenging. Oh.
Hello?
No, you can't talk to me right now. You're supposed to be answering questions, okay?
Yeah, calm down,
one last
Jerome.
question from Senator Torres in New York, so this is not the time. We tell him off. Also, that is true, though. We actually do have one last question from Senator Torres in New York. So if we can spread news and answer Papa Powell's phone calls at the same time, we'll do it. Also, yeah, shout out to Fabian and Ramin for that awesome animation there. Killing it. But yeah, so I had to say goodbye to Papa Powell there. Also, Chill Vibe saying NVIDIA like eyeball emoji. Did someone say AI? And NVIDIA did pop its little head out. Or not, the head is, NVIDIA has been very involved all day. I'm acting like this is a new move. But we did have, we had a little bit of another pop up in NVIDIA. Generally, though, I'm seeing slightly lower lows. I'm not getting involved in this in either direction. And like I said, unless I have something like what I had earlier, where you could kind of see these previous levels you can bounce off of, unless I see something like that, NVIDIA is a name that I do not feel like playing. You know, Neil was talking about making sure you take risk in the market. Sean said this as well earlier.
Oh, yeah.
NVIDIA is in its own category of risk, so, you know, it's a little bit different for me, but.
And I mentioned the chat that the Katina man had with Big Patty Ice and I near the $12,000 coffee machine that we have back there. But he was basically saying, like, I mean, and I want to mention this again because it's worth mentioning. If you're coming here and you're not taking the risk, the calculated risk for your setup, what are you doing here, right? I mean, if you have that A+ setup that you're looking at and you take it with baby shares, expect to make obviously baby profits, but that's not why we're here. We're here to try to supplement our income, obviously, through trading. And if you're not putting up big boy shares, then you're not likely not going to supplement your income. So I want to shout out to the Katina man for pointing that out, because although it's very, like I don't want to call it obvious. It's a true saying. It's a number one. It's a hard thing to do. Number two, it's you forget that in the daily grind of trading. Oh, I don't want to be down. Oh, I don't want to get shut down. Oh, I don't want to lose too much money. Oh, I had a great month. I don't want to give some of it back. All right. Well, if you're going to start having those thoughts, then you're going to put a cap on how much you're going to make, and that's a real deal, baby. Chill vibes. Let's bring Powell on the show. Can you bring him? Here he is. The market recap show, baby.
We'll recap his testimony.
Yeah, maybe we'll recap the testimony. Jerome Powell is always welcome on this show anytime he wants to come on and explain why we waited so long to raise rates and how come we're waiting so long to cut them again. He is more than welcome. No, I'm going to start some issues there. All right, guys, we're moving down here on ALB. I'm sitting on the top side of 117. We're inching closer. We were almost at 120. Now we're coming back into that 117 level. If we can hold at 117, I'll be pleased as punch. Look to take that bad boy along. Let's look here at Plug Power. Still, I have a dip trade set up at 4 to defend 4. It's still doing nothing. 1 penny out of the money right now on Plug Power as it sits at 405. Nothing doing there, baby. Let's look at some of the other small cap gappers that we were yapping about earlier. We had APM. I've secured my shorts on this one, and if this one breaks the bottom, I'm going to be taking it short. APM is the one we were looking at. This one was well over 1,000% at its highs on the day. The other one that we had a nice trade on, NKGN, it gave up the ghost at 4, was not able to take 4 though. And this one, by the way, I always mention this to you as well as the viewers. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there anything distinctly different about this small cap capper than APM?
Well, to me, it looks like this one is still it hasn't really made a decisively lower low.
No.
And it's pretty late in the day as well, and it's still kind of doing that.
The point I wanted to get at, what's up? He's done. Jerome Powell is done in the House of Representatives. He'll be up tomorrow in the Senate, where he'll be grilled again. But the point I wanted to make here, Darius, remember when I talked to you about the range per candle?
Oh, yeah.
Look how rangy it is on a per candle basis. I don't like that for small cap gappers, because you want to keep the stop a little bit tight. I don't want to be giving my small cappers 30 or 40 pennies worth of room. But look at the average candle over here. This has a 305 low and a 388 high. And then the next one, not same thing, but very similar, 366 high, 314 low. I don't like a long or wide range on a per candle basis on a small cap gapper. They got to be a little bit tighter. Otherwise, it makes risk management on them a little tricky. This one's a little tricky. The only reason I got into it because of this glaring hammer candle that it put there, where tried to bring it below 3, and then the buyer said, no, you don't. And we ended up popping off through into 4. So I was pleased as punch about that. But if I was to look at retaking a trade, I would definitely choose APM over NKGN. It's just way too rangy.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that too, because I think it makes sense. You don't want to get chopped up, and you don't want to give it so much room that it,
right?
like, Pac-Man style eats all your profits. So thank you for explaining that. As someone who does it, trade small caps very much, or if I do, they're the ones that move at a bit more of a languid pace. Thank you for going over that. I really appreciate that. That's something important to keep in mind, because I'm not open to trading small caps. I just have had some bad experiences that go by the name of Axla. No, I'm kind of joking. But yeah, just trying to learn every day. Also, thank you so much to Luke Waters for the $2 super chat. Sorry we didn't get to this earlier. Adara LePage, LMAO, spitting fire.
Yeah.
Thank you there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we try. We like to keep it spicy, and like I said, I always feel very energized with this trading community, and with Sean, Neil, Brendan, Sharif, Obi, everybody in the back, and everybody here tuning in every day. So it's been a really fun time to trade. NVIDIA, basically indecision nation over here. We get to 88, we wick up, 888. We wick up to 889. We come back down here. Then we wick down to 887. We come back down. We try that again. We can't do it. I think there could be honestly, I like that we're holding above that 90 MA for a long, but also these, it could be a short. And then the other we can look at here too is, oh, well, we're holding up above that, we're holding up above 88. We have these failed wicks of selling showing that the buyers want more. It's also NVIDIA, so that means it could do both of these things in the matter of 5 minutes. It's really not my type of trade, I don't think, for right now, but it is one that, of course, you have to keep your eye on because it does move oh so very much. We also do have the SPY kind of curling. I don't know, what is the SPY doing? The SPY's doing something. This could actually be more of a short opportunity, but this candle, we did get a little bit of a pause here with this candle around that 511.30 area. I want to wait for another candle here. I really should have gotten short when we had that 511.60 area back pop up here, this candle around 12:51. I considered it, and I ended up scaring myself out of it, which was not the vibe. It was not the plan. But yeah, Fed Powell has stopped speaking. PLTR? Let's look at Palantir. Sean, Killer Katina, as Sharif has started calling him as well here, talking here about Palantir, up 12%. Whew! Yeah, that's a massive move. And it's interesting, too, the area from which we pop. We get into that 2650, around that 1220, come back up here. We pop with the viciousness here at that 2650 at 1257. Then we to the moon here for Palantir. Massive move up here. That AI news, we know the market loves AI. Certainly investors and traders here loving AI and Palantir today. Where are you long, Palantir? 2625. Whew! Yeah, Sean getting involved here near the bottom of this little dip, 26.25. Yeah, and also what I like that too is if we have that previous resistance as well at 26.25, which I think is really cool look. Congrats to Sean, congrats to anybody else involved in this. I am assuming Palantir has a place in the esteemed sticky note. I'm 97% sure of that. But yeah, so Palantir, nice sticky note move. Sticky note nation, almost 50 cents in the money here on PLTR. Wow, I have no words except wow. This is a massive move here as well. Also, there's also NEO. Damien Oliveira is mentioning NEO. NEO had earnings earlier this week. NEO also had a downgrade today, and NEO does not care. We bounce off VWAP here, a couple touches of that 570 on the 3-minute, and it actually got kind of rangy, except it continued to pop up here. Volume, a cool 44.5 million, so really good volume on this as well. Yeah, I mean, not something that I really have much in me to trade in terms of how I like to trade, but massive, nice move up here in NEO. Congrats to anybody involved in this. The other EV name that I think is always on watch that I was dabbling in a little bit earlier is this Tesla move. I had a short on this, took out half of it with a profit, the other half with a loss, so we're slightly red on this name. But yeah, curling back up a little bit for sure. I should have been watching for that pop off that 178, because talk about, we had clear resistance becoming clear support here on that 178. Really should have been paying better attention, but c'est la vie, so many names to keep an eye on always. If you got that long off that 178 bounce though, you are $1 in the money, money here for Tesla. This is a massive look here. Yeah, Combat Stark saying too, Tesla making a quiet move up. I totally agree. Like Tesla, slow and steady wins the race here. We make that bottom with that wick down here. A couple wicks down here showing that buyers overwhelming sellers here at Tesla, 174.17. Then we have this kind of interesting pause here at that 178 before revving right back up at 178. What a look here on Tesla. But also we are hitting 103, which means that it is time for lesson numero 3. Look at that. Time to repeat this lesson one more time. So we're going to do that right now. Shorting into an active decline, which is basically the opposite of what we're doing right now. The market has apparently decided not to care at all. The market, I guess the market doesn't care. Why would the market care about what lessons we're doing here? But yeah, let's talk here about shorting into an active decline. Look at this. Understanding the strategy. What is this strategy? Basically involves short selling a stock that's already in a downtrend with strong momentum. So we know Sharif loves his trend trades. Certainly what you're going to get if you're doing this kind of strategy for sure, right? Basically the underlying assumption is that the decline that the stock is experiencing will continue. That allows you to repurchase the shares at a lower price and profit from the difference. And again, we do love, it's always better to trade if you have the trend. The trend is your friend. If you're short selling into an active decline, that's going to be what you're getting. But why do we do this, right? Well, it allows you some potential for quick profits, because if the downtrend continues, you can potentially profit quickly as the stock falls further. It also allows you to capitalize on strong sell-off sentiment, because the strategy aligns, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, maybe got a bit ahead of myself, it aligns with the existing bearish momentum and heightened selling pressure in the market. So it allows you, as the market continues to sell off, you ride the river downstream here with the stock that you're in. Oh, I accidentally went back there. There we go. Next slide. How do I identify opportunities? So step one, you want to confirm that you have this downward move. So we're looking for technical indicators and chart patterns confirming a strong downtrend. Now, I was asking Sharif earlier, what indicators do you use? Sharif was like, I look at price action, what the chart's doing. So if you see these continued lower highs, if you see, maybe a little bit of a pullback, some opportunities to get involved, these are all things you want to be looking for, right? And these can include steep declines in price, consistently lower highs and lows. Shout out to Sharif for that. Or high trading volume on down days. Those can all be little signs that, my short sense is tingling, let's get involved. Momentum indicators can also help you identify selling pressure. So those are like the RSI or moving average convergence divergence. So the RSI and the MACD, relative strength index, that's what the RSI stands for. And these can help you identify strong selling pressure, which are often going to be indicated by values reaching oversold levels. I know Sharif as well talks about the divergence. So if you see a divergence between where the RSI is going and where the stock price is going, that can be a sign that there's some, divergence moving, and maybe it's time to get involved in some moves here. Also, entry point going to be really important here as well. Consider entering the short position during a period of increased volatility or a downward price gap, which suggests a continuation of the decline. We have some movement down. Looks like it's going to get lower. That's when you might want to get low with the stock.
Yeah, it does that. Cycle through it. Keep going. It'll. There
Managing
you go.
risk.
Yeah.
Thank you
No
for that.
worries.
The PowerPoint did not want to leave us be there. Stop loss orders. So you might want to place a stop loss order above a recent swing high or a short-term resistance level. So let's say, I know one example Sharif uses a lot that I've really learned from is if you're getting in because you're seeing lower highs and lower lows. If you see a higher high or a higher low, that might be when you want to flip-flop, right? That might be where you want to get out.
Bang.
This allows you to automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises, and that can help limit potential losses. Position sizing also going to be key here. Due to the increased risk that you have with a strong downtrend, you might want to allocate a very small position of your capital to this strategy. So as Sharif said, maybe what you use, normally what you allocate, maybe half that, you know what I mean? So that you're not risking too much capital in what's inherently a riskier strategy. You also want to remember, though, shorting is highly risky and it's not guaranteed to be profitable because the stock price can unexpectedly reverse course and cause significant losses. Short squeeze is also really important to keep an eye on as well because they can occur where a surge in buying pressure forces short sellers to buy back shares at a higher price to cover these positions, which can amplify losses. What stocks are we talking about? We're talking about, we did have one in GME, but in terms of more recent examples, Carvana with a massive short float, AI with a massive short float. There's a recent small cap, Novavax, that has like a 40+% short float, so that might not be something you want to get involved with here. Don't play with fire, and I would say shorting some of these heavily shorted stocks can be fire if they squeeze to the upside. Thorough research is also crucial because you want to analyze the reason behind the decline, the potential news catalyst, and any factors that could lead to a reversal. So that's our take there on shorting into a decline, and something I'm trying to get a little bit better at as someone who's a bit more of a range trader. But I know the momentum trader in Sharif, I'm sure, was pleased as punch with this lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. And well said there, Adair. Thank you for doing that. And I want to mention, with respect to that last part, with respect to actually knowing that the different events or causes that could basically flip the short. So the example I gave earlier was solar stocks and interest rates. If interest rates go down, solar stocks typically go up because of the large capital expenditures that you have to dish out initially. And usually that money is not your own money, it's on credit, so you have to factor that into margins. So many different examples, none coming to mind at the moment, but you need to be very, very apprised as to the events that could cause this to flip. Now, I'm not really talking more intraday because intraday is going to flip in a second and you're really not going to have time to do the homework. And I'm really talking more for swing trading here, or for if you're looking for holding something for a few months, a few weeks. You need to know what could flip the script on the trade. All right, let's get to plug power here, because we're having issues, Ram, with this $4.10 level. Every time we come in around 410, we're finding a bit of a top. So it looks like there may be a seller there, and there's not really that much size on the book to justify us finding trouble around there. So we're going to keep eyes on this this one as well. Plug power is what I'm talking about. I still have an order out to defend for. The other trade I want to talk about was this ALB trade. Shout out to Amir. I mean, I earmarked 117 as the level that it was going to dip and bounce, and it ended up being 117.5. So it doesn't quite give me my level. I was sitting at 117.05s. I didn't get it. And here we go, right back into that 118 and 2/3 general area, wanting to make its way back up to 119. I'm seeing several wicks off 119 that have rejected, but that would have been a $1.50 winner there. But hey, I mean, I put my order out there, just didn't get the fill. All good. We'll see if we can rinse and repeat on this one. APM continuing to kind of make that 11, 10.5 general hold. This is a rinse and repeat if you're looking to range trade a small cap gapper. You've been given once, twice, and now 3 times off that general 11 area where it's bounced and given you multiple dollars. Initially, you had a 10.5 bounce, you got 13.5. And then you got a 10 3/4 bounce, and you got a 14 plus touch. Now you got a 10.5 bounce and you got a 12.5 touch. I'd rather wait for this to flat bottom break, but we'll wait and see. I'm not really going to range trade these small cap gappers, but I mean, maybe I should, because it's giving you it's giving you multiple times, right? You could wet your beak after $1, take profits after 50 cents, whatever. It's giving you multiple opportunities here. So APM, not off the hook quite yet, but if you're looking for that bottom to drop off, it may come, because we'll keep getting lower highs, lower highs. Looks like there is more selling pressure at these levels. You know, one thing we didn't look at today was too much of the chips. And I'm really surprised that Intel is up 5%, because it's absolute trash. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you the truth.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Intel is a bad stock. I got to tell you the truth. Yeah. Intel, I mean, let's be real about it, Sean. Intel has, you know, it's got to take government money in order to prop itself up. So the fact of the matter is, you know, you're up 5% on government money here, and that's kind of the way I feel about that. So we'll continue to we'll continue to watch that. Sorry, Neil. Plug power break even right now.
Yeah, I mean, also break even, I'm happy to say, was this baby SPY short. That wasn't much of a transition, but that's okay. I got involved here because I was noticing someone here, who was this in the chat? James Choi saying SPY should bounce for 511. It kind of has, but it's still been giving you this nice kind of 511.25, 511.10 kind of range. So I wanted to play that a little bit in the short. Un poco, just a little bit here. Got involved at that 511.20, took it down to about 511.15, so about an 8-penny trade. But given that we had a 3-penny long here earlier, I am not one to complain. I like the range trades. I actually should be looking at that APM though that you noted, because I hear range and I go, I do the Scooby-Doo, yeah, Sharif and Neil both do that face and noise much better than I do. But yeah, the Scooby-Doo, hello. Yeah, this is not one that, sometimes I'll go like long and short either side of the range. Not at all something I would do in a small cap for various reasons. One of them just being, I like being alive. No, I'm joking. It's just these are really risky, right? And so you don't want to play with fire to that extent. However, if we come back into, as Sharif noted, and thank you for pointing this one out, that area just shy of 11, that 1070, and we hold, I could take some profits. I'm not gonna, if she wants to give me an entry, I'm not gonna say no. But I'm not gonna put a resting order on this one either, because the small caps are known to drop. It's also, it's above VWAP, but it is very much below that pre-market high. That being said, though, if we get involved and we hold it, if we take a couple, I mean, I've taken smaller trades, right? So I don't mind, you know, taking a little scalp here on a small capper in a range. I am very much okay with this. Also, yes, I'm TJ agreeing with what you had to say about Intel. I thought they were paying you guys. It's a terrible stock. So that was.
I've said my piece. I've said my piece. I may or may not revisit the subject again at some later point. But Intel Intel, yeah, we all know exactly what Intel is all about, and that's fine. It's yeah, all right. At 170 again here on Apple, Adara. As we, how many times are we going to dance with that 170 level? Let's have a look here at the chart on AAPL. Tell us, Katina man.
No, I'm short 170 and a quarter. I don't know what to do either.
The Katina man is short 170 and a quarter here on AAPL, essentially catching the consolidation high, because that's where we keep topping out at. NVIDIA's new all-time highs. Okay, we got to cover that. Oh my goodness, here comes 900. Here comes 900, and I sat down today, and we were trading at 830 something. And Adara and Neil, they're always here before me in the morning because they're always prepping. And I said to both of them, NVIDIA 900 today, we're $7.50 off that level, Adara. Adara, we were at 888. And in one 5-minute candle, we find ourselves now knocking on the door of 893. So, yeah, that's the kind of power that NVIDIA has on the day. What's going on over there? What's going on over there?
You'll see, that's so ominous, Neil.
Sharif, do you need my password to Razors Online, or do you have your own login? Oh, come on, because of the beard. Here we go again. Here we go with the beard.
NVIDIA's going to take 9.
NVIDIA's going to take 9. Guys, here comes 894. 894, there it goes. There's someone's buying this up at the moment. Here comes 895. 894 and a quarter is going. Wow, FOMO. Wow, FOMO. Here comes 895, Adara, and the market really not responding to this NVIDIA pump as we're still, at that 18140 level, but NVIDIA doesn't seem to care where the market is. It's on its way up, baby.
Yeah, there's the pamphlet for the market.
Kyle,
there.
More about using your mom's logins. Man, I got one login for my Netflix, and it's my old man's. My mom doesn't even know what Netflix is, bro. My old man loves Netflix, and not for the reasons that you think. It's more like the other shows that are on there. But yeah, that's the only login I use. Give me a break. But what do you have to offer? Let me know. What passwords you have to offer there?
You're like, I'm not going to say no. Kevin Mendoza saying pamp it, or I'm going to try to say this true. Pamp it. Pamp it. No, I can't do it. But yeah, it's Sharif and I were talking about this earlier today too. There's a video on our social media. Shout out to the Trader TV Live Instagram and our social media team. But there's a video where I attempt to say the Sharif pamp it, and I do so in a way that is not the patented Sharif pamp it. But Sharif's like, I feel like I've been starting to say it your way now, so it's morphing. It's turning. The phraseology is always changing here. Also, look at this doji on NVIDIA. Like, holy cow! Here around this 892.50. Also, this is interesting too because I remember I want to say it was Chill Vibes in the chat saying something to the extent of I think it was something to the extent of like, oh, maybe NVIDIA will see 900 by the end of the month. I think NVIDIA might see 900 by the end of the week, but I don't want to assume anything. This could be a key level. This could be like NVIDIA 500, where we try a couple times. They won't let NVIDIA in at the door. NVIDIA doesn't have its ID, or it's not wearing the right dress code. But then eventually NVIDIA knocks one more time, and it breaks 900. So I think we will get close to 900. I do not know if we will exceed 900 right away, but I think it will be interesting. Carrie Weaver, I think it's going to see it by the end of the day. Honestly,
I agree.
I don't disagree. I just don't want to make assumptions, especially with things like NVIDIA. Whatever you think NVIDIA is going to do, it likes to be surprising you. It likes to be bamboozling. I'm looking here at my little NVIDIA scalp earlier, and I was like, I don't have FOMO because I know I would be freaking out if I was in this trade. But I'm looking at this, and I was like, please, just punch with this 175 scalp. And I'm like, wow, NVIDIA continuing to go higher here. Looks like we are chilling out a little bit at that 893, but again, it's NVIDIA. Who knows how much longer this will continue to go. What a move. Yeah, it is a monster, and it said, Chill Vibes, I totally agree, and it's so much fun to watch. Literally, I was just watching this and thinking about, man, I love being a part of these markets. I'm so happy I get to be here and look at the markets every day. It's like sports. It's like, I don't know, like a wrestling competition all rolled into one. That was a weird analogy.
Okay.
But it's super fun to watch. The Bulls and the Bears fight it out every day, and the Turtles as well. And just to be a part of this market and see what it does, I feel very gratified. And I mean, also very happy I was out of that scalp spy short, because I would be very unfortunate if I didn't get out here. We're going to have to see. I think I do, I said James Toy earlier calling that 511 bounce. I think that did come to fruition. Going to see what the SPY does right now. Not something I ever read on. I might have to kick it off of my side chart for now. Find some other opportunities. If anyone sees anything rangy, give your girl a tag there. I
love
think
it.
I'd
I
be
love
a
it.
little interested for sure.
All right, long NKGN for the hold of 3. Looking to wet my beak here at 15s. Let's see if we get that cross. Kind of spready for a $3 name. 3-penny spread, what the hell? So this one dipped below 3, and initially it had found a lot of support on 3, and that's where we got in before. Got in again. What were we long? 304. We're long 304, printing 312s. I've got my first profit taker at 15s. Let's see if we cross that. I'm looking for NKGN to generally hold that 3 area. Oh, here it comes right back down into 3. So this one's awfully volatile at the moment. Just as we were about to get printed on that 15s, it comes right back down. So keeping my eye on that. The other one that I'm involved in, obviously, is Plug Power. This is having trouble breaking through 410, kind of a consolidation range. Now, you could even make the argument for a possible double top as it's kind of rounding at the top a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if this one holds above 4. I've got a dip trade there to defend that $4 level owing to this crest over here. So initially, 4 seemed to be an area of resistance. We dipped back into that 389 area before we broke 4. So keeping my eye on that, looking for that move up. Magic Mike. And this is how the market will tag 8,200 by surfing the NVIDIA rip. You're not wrong, man. As it's gaining more market cap, it's going to become a bigger piece of that NASDAQ. And obviously, it's going to have more influence on the NASDAQ. No question about that. So you're not wrong. And we'll continue to watch that. All right, back to NKGN. Now we're topping it at 310. Looking for a 3 hold here and a move up. We'll see what we get on this bad boy. The other small cap gapper, APM. This one, I've been really waiting for the bottom to fall off. This one, it's been putting consecutively lower highs with a flat bottom around 10.5 or that general area there. Looking for the print on that. There we go on NKGN. We get the fill, baby, through that break of 15s. Let's see if we can make it back up into that general area here of the mean around 340. Give or take. We'll hold that bad boy, see if we can print on it. Pumped about the trades on NKGN. A couple in rinse and repeats today. Nothing else for me to chat about. Really, what is the chat looking at? Kyle Burdett says, I'm going to get long NVIDIA on the pullback to 872. Let's have a look at what Big Kyle is talking about because he seems to have his levels all marked out. So what are you seeing here, Kyle? Let's talk about this 872. So obviously, we're looking at higher highs right now, but where is 872? Okay, so 872 is the bottom end of this trough over here that we was kind of like almost the IB low, if you want to call it that, around 1005, where we based out at 871 or thereabouts. So Big Kyle is going to take this whole NVIDIA short and, forget about 4% up on the day. Hey, man, if you print on it, I'll be happy for you, Kyle. No question about that. But I would rather be with the trend on NVIDIA today, and mostly every day, than rather be against it and try to call tops. But I've seen Sean take dollars at it, taking it against the trend. He knows where the levels are. Shout out to you, Kyle. If you know where the levels are, kill it and tell us all about it after. Nice skin. Hey, Adara. Hey, Sharif. Can you check S? Why is it up so much today? What is S?
Sentinel?
How do you know this stuff? You are right.
Oh, really?
Sentinel 1. Yes, you're really good at this. You know that, right? So let's check S. All right, what do we got here? Let's go to the daily, figure out what the daily looks like before we get involved here. Okay, so obviously off the COVID highs, November 2021, this was at like 77 bucks, 78 bucks. We come all the way down to what? 12, 13 bucks. And now we've made a nice bottom at that area. So we bottom out around 13, 12 bucks. And then the volume really comes in and the price action really breaks through highs around late November, early December, 31 high. We're trading right now at 27. So we're in like the mean of the range, give or take right now, ever since we popped up. Let's look at the half an hour now to get a gauge of the recent price action. Quite consolidative, if I can say so, with a 25-ish bottom, 25 and a half, 25-ish bottom, and a 30 top. So essentially, since late Jan, we've been in a $5 range. I would say range trade this until it breaks out or breaks down, and look to pack your patience, because you're going to have to wait till you get to the tops or the bottoms in order to do that. That's what I would say there. And then once it breaks out of the range, you can look for a momentum trade there. So shout out to you, nice skin. What else we got over here? I said long when it pulls back. Got it, Kyle. My mistake. Chill vibes. NVIDIA about to pass Apple market cap. Are you serious?
Huh?
No. Where's NVIDIA at? NVIDIA 2.2 trillion, 2.2.5 trillion. Okay.
Whew.
Apple is 2.625 trillion. So you're not wrong. You are not wrong, my friend. We could actually see that live in living color. Big Kyle goes on to say, I want to get long NVIDIA on the pullback. That should tell everyone that the top is close to it. All right, okay. Charon Tej, show us level 2 on NVIDIA as it breaks 900. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. We'll do that, no problem. We'll pull up NVIDIA for you once we get close to that $900 level. Well, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 897, Adara.
No.
Yeah. Unreal.
No.
Unreal.
Let's look at the monthly. Someone in the chat was saying crazy how NVIDIA was at January 6th. NVIDIA was at like 475.
Unreal.
I'm going to try to find who this was because I was actually thinking what I would. I was like,
this
is a wild look that this was a thing. I cannot. I can't. I don't remember who saw this here, but yeah, shout out to you for saying this because something I was thinking. Alexander Wheeler is saying crazy how NVIDIA was 475 January 3rd. So let's go see here on this. Yeah, daily is not. Let's go monthly because I think I suspect. Yeah. Wow.
Should we get long NVIDIA for 900 right here?
I think that'd be. It's not my type of trade, but it's your type of trade.
It's not.
It's momentum-y though.
Katina, man, what do you think of the long into NVIDIA right now? Short NVIDIA? Just saying random. Are you serious about that? Yeah. Okay. Katina man says short. All right.
Oh.
There you go, baby. It's been said.
I'm not gonna go either way because this is really not my type of trade. There's no range here. There's no ceiling. It'd be like bottom to moon. That's not really, anything that I have. Because I like having my clear levels of entry and exit.
I got you.
I wish I was the type of trader that could do this. I wish I was a bolder trader. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. But you know what I mean? This is quite the look here on NVDA. And we are struggling with 897 a little bit, though. So it might be a little bit of an earlier short, as Sean was saying. But that being said, yeah, we're falling back now into 895. Oh, this is getting really interesting. Again, I do not want to trade this. I don't think my risk management is on point enough, if I'm being really, really honest. But yeah, I think either way, this is an interesting look. I was looking at that APM for the range, but last time I checked, the bottom fell off the range. Oh my gosh, it bounced. The bottom fell off the range, and so I didn't want to get in because we fell below here into that, we were in 1060, and I was like, Adara, you don't want to get a discount just because you think it's a better price. Now it's falling below. It looks like a flat bottom break, though.
It doesn't matter. It didn't flat bottom break though. So you don't here's what I was gonna say. Don't let it off the hook until it tells you. Did I on what? No, not yet. It's above VWAP. Right. What you want me to take the short on APM? Well, the Katina man, NVIDIA. No, 900 short. I thought 900 short, baby. We're going to pull that up. So whoever wanted that live and living color look, we're going to pull it up for you right now. We're going to take NK, well, and we can't take that one off. We're going to have to take ALB off. So we'll take ALB, and we're going to put NVIDIA because we're going to wait for that 900 short to come in, baby. Well, and we may not have to wait long. It's going to be about a couple of minutes. Let's see what we get here. And look, I have a feeling there's going to be bamboozlement. Into 900, we go to 905, and then come right back down. I want to catch it on the way down. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but I don't want to be standing in this stock's way. What do we got here, Ram?
This is really funny.
Jensen. Oh, wow, yeah. Well, what about these pictures is supposed to be funny?
Well, it's like 2023, he's all, and then 2024, he looks like exhausted. I'll pull this up.
He looks his hair is all white.
He's going gray because of all the stress of NVIDIA here.
Poor
so
Jensen.
Jensen in 2023, we're going to zoom
These
him up here.
guys are trolling Jensen.
Look at
Leave
Jensen
alone. Look at
and
that
then
excellent leather jacket.
Where's my second Jensen? Oh, where'd he go? There's another Jensen. Where did I put him? Oh, there he is. He's in the same tab. I'm not bad at the internet. Here's Jensen number 2. He looks he's great. He looks very concerned here. He's like, ready to call his second cousin Lisa Sue and be like, what's up, girl? What's up with the Lisa Suits? I need to take a break. NVIDIA's getting close to 900. Yeah, here's a very stressed out looking Jensen Huang compared to the Jensen Huang we saw in image 1, who looks very jovial and does not have gray hair.
Much more wealthy this year, though.
That is true. That is the one thing. Yeah, I mean, he could be happier about that.
He's probably getting all those white hairs trying to scale the GPUs. What's that, Ram?
That's true. Yeah, she could.
I'm not repeating that. No. I'm not going to say that out loud, Ram.
Pretty funny. But yeah, Jensen's having a good time, and so was NVIDIA. So that's very apt then. That makes
the Katina man is like $3 in the money on that NVIDIA short at the moment. Since I asked him, basically, he's been printing 897 and a quarter. The high, we're at 894 and a quarter right now. So $3 off the top, and we could see a lot more. I'd say there's an 890 possible bounce here on NVDA, and the reason is we seem to have trouble possibly breaking through that 890 initially. There was an attempt here at 945 and a second attempt here at 1235. That 890 area may be a dip trade if we get a big retracement on NVDA. So we'll see. It's going to either be a 900 short or an 890 bounce. We're going to be looking at NVIDIA here. But yeah, definitely what a monster. 4%. This thing never seems to disappoint if you're long, and always disappoints if you're standing on the sidelines or you're short, because every day you come in and it's up more. Every day you show up, it's up more. So lots of FOMO I personally felt looking at this stock. The Katina man wet his beak on some profits on the personal account there on the NVIDIA long. So he was, like he did with Disney yesterday, he's taking some profits at these levels, baby. So shout out to the Katina man. All right, NKGN now breaking down below 3. That's the end of the trade here. We had very little size left on that one. We're going to have to look at what Plug Power is doing, because Plug Power is on the way to $4 as well. And if it doesn't hold up at $4 exactly, that's going to be the end of the trade there, Daryl.
Yeah, I got involved in the trade that I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I got involved in this Q long. I see the lower highs, that made me nervous, but I also saw that we were kind of making this bounce here, right? Off of that, this kind of like area that we're coming into at 1, right? I like that we're holding this 440, 140 area like a glove, and I also like, you know what, NVIDIA flies, it takes the Qs with it. Not the smartest trade thesis in the whole world, honestly, especially someone who's a little bit rangier. But I do like, however, if we do get up here, I'm going to be taking some profits at that 441.70 area, because I like that we had that bounce here, that top and tail candle, and then we go to the downside. And then, down. And then we kind of get that area again as well, right? So that'll be my area to leave. We're holding up pretty well. But what I'm also looking for in terms of my stop is, how do we do at 441.30? 2 reasons for that. 1, look at the bounce we had at 441 earlier. I like that area of support. B, it actually would be coming into confluence with the 90 MA, which again, a level I'm trying to be less reliant on. But if it shows up, I'm not gonna say no to it, right? So we're gonna have to see, holding up well here for now, but I will either reload or get out of Dodge, depending on what we're doing at that 441.30 area. Sure, even I talk about this a lot, like trying to work on DCAs and DCAs that make sense. But also it looks like the Qs just might not want me here, and that's okay. If the Qs say, Adara, this isn't your time, you should leave. It was not like I said, it was not my favorite trade thesis anyway to begin with, which is mostly if NVIDIA pops, so will the Qs, which is, again, not like the thesis that has, rocked the market or the world. We're going to get out of this, though, because we got a little bit lower than we wanted to. Okay, Qs, let's calm down so Derek can leave this trade, please and thanks. Okay, I might have to get out of this. Sorry, this just like.
You're long Apple?
No, bro, I've been saying
Short Apple, yeah. I agree. Katina man is short Apple, baby. What's the price, Katina man? 170 and a quarter, baby. The Katina man is short. He's 50 pennies in the money now. Apple's going down.
Oh my God, the whole market's going down.
Yeah, the market's tanking. The market's on the way down, guys. Big move down on NVIDIA into 491. This is the 490 area we were looking at here. Let's see what we do here on NVDA. Big move down into 18.1. There goes 18.1. Do we reject entirely here? Here comes VWAP. VWAP on the future. 18.075. Bye-bye Apple. Apple on the way down. 169.50 coming into low of days, baby. 168.93 is a low day. Apple's absolutely tanking, Adara.
Yeah, this was humbling. I'm going to say this was
Wow.
humbling. I feel
Wow.
humbled. Wow. Yeah, this is.
Pamp it.
Yeah, all I have to say is I am humbled by this. You know, someone in the chat saying, why would you go long QQQ when SPY's almost at resistance? Honestly, like I said, I like that we had this hold to that 441.40. We were holding it. And then we just, you know, didn't end up happening. We gave up the ghost much faster than I thought. We had to get out here. I thought I had a smaller position than I did. I get out a part of it, and then the rest of it's like, hey, Adara, what about me? You know what, honestly, not actually bad of a trade. We're not really down that much in this trade. We were down in the trade, but we're still up on the day. And you know, the biggest thing too is I found like, you can't let one loss get you down.
No.
Am I proud
No.
of this? No.
There goes
did it
NVIDIA.
humble me? Heck yeah. NVIDIA is, where's it
Nice
bouncing?
bounce. Nice
Ooh.
bounce off that 890. There it goes. Oh. All right, there it goes, 892. Let's see what we get here. Big bounce up on the future. We're still below 18.1 Adara.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say about this is like lessons learned. The market was like, you know what, Adara, you thought you were up on the day. Let's give you a little 1-2 punch. And I'm like, yeah, I earned that. I deserve that. That's okay. All you can do is move, live on, and get some more trading hopefully going on here. This was a mistake. But you know what? There's no point in dwelling on it. Let's see what the rest of the market has to give you. Mother market, you know, sometimes sends you to bed without dinner. Shout out to Obi with the mother market. Tesla kind of popping back up here, but again, we made a lower low, so I don't have a long here. It's funny, the one time, usually I'm a little bit more short biased. The one time I'm weirdly long biased. The one time the market's like, haha, Dara, what are you doing? This AMD, though, actually kind of interesting if we kind of come back and pull back up here at this 211 area. Honestly, I think probably part of the cues as well is I hadn't been trading a while today. I wanted to get into a trade. Did I rush it? Probably so. Maybe took a larger position. But yeah, again, if there are any ranges on the horizon, I would always love to see those. 8 p.m. actually still kind of rangy. The market sells off, but being a small cap, 8 p.m. cares not at all.
Not really.
Actually, we could actually be curling back up here, which I know you had the shorts on that, so maybe not good for that potentially getting the shorts here. But the 8 p.m. bounce is still interesting, still within a range. Something I'm keeping an eye on. What else is not much else I have here. SPY fell pretty hard. Yeah, honestly, no plan for me right now. The mother market did say, Dara, take a good hard look at your life. And I'm going to have to listen. No, I'm joking. SPY, though, here kind of bouncing a little bit off of that area we fell to earlier, that 510. If you were in that SPY short, anyone, congrats. That's a $2 winner. Yeah, let's see what else the market has to bring. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I just tried to take that 890 on NVIDIA, but it gave up. It gave way, so we got out super quick. There it goes, all the way down. Here comes 888s on NVIDIA as the market goes down, baby. Qs are dumping. Here we go all the way down. Hit it. Oh, someone flossing, baby. Someone's flossing. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Everything red. How do we get into one of these trades today? NVDA on the way down, holding up right now at 888s. But, you know, we could see a lot more. VWAP on my chart right there, 883. And a quarter, so that's about $5 from where we're trading at right now, that NVIDIA volume weighted average price, but 169 also coming in on Apple, so that's another very important area as well. You've got some other Mag 7 names at key levels. You've got Microsoft coming into VWAP as well at 402, so that's an important level to be aware of. Amazon also coming into break even, 174.10, that's yesterday's closing price on AMZN. But yeah, fantastic look here for the shorts, baby. And that NVIDIA top at 897 absolutely sent this market downside, baby. Apple just disappointed, somebody said. I think it dipped off 169 exactly. It gave you about a $0.25 there on AAPL. Let me just pull up another trading screen here for Apple. I think it did come into that 169. Well, there's all sorts of wicks. I'm sorry about that. So we'll bring in the other charts. Yeah, the ever-present issue of wicks. How low did we get? We got to 169.04 and it popped right back up. So there's somebody buying this up at 169, but it still gave you a nice nice move short there off that 170. Good look for the shorts today on Apple, Adara.
Yeah, good luck for the shorts indeed on that AAPL. Good luck. Honestly, someone here, who was this saying? Someone was saying, Legend League, saying time to shorten to an active decline. Yeah, certainly the lesson finally coming to fruition.
Yes.
The market being like, hey guys, We know what we were talking about. We took our time here, but yeah, we did move down. Also, some people asking what's happening, and Marcelo Prieto saying, I went long, that's what happened, you're welcome. I'm sorry to hear that, Marcelo, but as someone who was long in the queues when that drop happened, I agree. You know what, the lesson I have to say here is, when I got into that queue short, or that queue long, I even said, like, I don't know about this, you know what I mean? So it should have been lessons. Like, Adara, if you were like, about it when the market was calm, you should have been prepared. If the market's gonna flush, what are you gonna do, right? So, honestly, hard lesson, but lesson learned, hopefully. I intend to stick with it. Also, too bad that I didn't realize I still had some of that position in there, because took a little bit more of an L than we needed to. But like I said, still up on the day, and I'm not going to let this, get me too sour, because we had some good trades today. We had some nice little scalps. And Sharif was pleased his punch. How did this go?
I got revenge on that video long. There we go, through the roof. It's okay though. I just have to set up other trades. You can take it over.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. I like this meta doji here. We fall down, then meta sees this little candle at 496. We dip down past 495, so what a candle. And then we close above. Now we're popping back up 496. I think this could be interesting up until that 497. I've been talking about meta 497 all darn day. That was my initial target for the short. I got out because we bounced up a little bit, and that's just kind of my style. But, actually, I like this meta. I like that I wouldn't be getting it. I'd be getting a little bit on the back end because we've already curled a little bit. We're going to try to get involved in this around 30s. It's going to be a smaller trade. We're going to take smaller size. Let's see what happens here. I'll be taking this at 497. If we fall below that 499.75 area, so it'll be about a 50 penny risk, I guess, 50 pennies that we're risking. I think this could be an interesting look here for META. I don't know if we'll get it, though. I think I probably set my fill too low. And meta is pretty spready, so once it gets started, it's kind of hard to weasel your way into a trade, as Sharif does sometimes say. Yeah, it definitely is an opportunity. We just dumped up $1. That's okay. On to the next one. As Jay-Z says, and where's the next trade? As Obi often says. Though I think another interesting area that I'd like to get interested or get involved in here is this Tesla. We bounced off. As Sharif said, a lot of these kind of fell into key support areas. We're around that 178 here on Tesla. We bounced, but we're also coming into that area of resistance that we had a little bit of top return earlier, which is going to be that 179. We saw this twice earlier, and it also was one of the many lines I was drawing in this Tesla chart earlier as an area of support and resistance. So I'm going to have to watch here. If we fail 179, this could be a spicy short that I would be trying to take into this. You know what? You have to take risks as a trader. I like this look. I'm going to take it. So there we go. We took this short. If we break above here, it's going to be really tight into this 179.20. I'm going to have to say sayonara, but I like the look of this for now. For now. And even as I say it, Tesla's like, oh yeah, you were so confident in that, we're going to flip. But it's okay. You got to take opportunities that the market gives you, and we'll have to see how this opportunity goes indeed. Chill Vibe saying that looked like a bear trap. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of bear traps happening right now. We're gonna have to see what happens. I like this. How are you doing? Oh, we still have more moves.
I just have to keep this.
It's okay. Sharif's he's NVIDIA, so totally understand how that goes. I'm gonna be trying to take some profit here at that 178.50. If we get down there, so let's go 53s, and then I'm gonna save a piece for the dream at 178. Oh, I accidentally, we had a fat finger move. That's okay. That's all good. We're just waiting to see how the rest of this goes. I still have part of this position in there. We didn't take too much of an L on that fat finger move, so all good. We're going to save the rest of this, like I said, then probably for that other area of exit, that 178.50. It looks like we're about to drop. If we do, I would be pretty happy with this. Indeed. Yeah, I know this Tesla short could be a little bit risky, but some people also mentioning NYCB. So let's see what's happening in NYCB for sure. Oh, wow. Barcode. Yeah, this is NYCB. Not seeing any news here. Halted news pending. Thank you very much, Neil, on that. Halted news pending for NYC. News of banks seeking capital infusion. This most recent halt here at 142. As we're going to have to be keeping an eye on that. Also worth noting where we get our news here at Trader TV, our lovely sponsors at Benzinga Pro. So thank you very much to Benzinga Pro. We do have that New York Community Bank Core news coming up right there. You also have a lot of other news here. We have Sentinel-1 options activity. We talked about S. There we go. That one popping up here if you were involved in that Sentinel-1 move here. But yeah, we would love to thank our sponsors at Benzinga Pro because we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. And you can just sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. That is TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. So thank you very much to Benzinga Pro. That's where we're going to have that NYC Bancorp news coming for you. Man, this has been a very eventful midday. We had Papa Powell taking the mic.
Yeah.
We had, stocks going up, down, and all around. We had NVIDIA trying to hang out with 900. We had the whole market full. NYC Bancorp halting. There's so much going on here. Honestly, all I have to say is wow. Wow, 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 market. Honestly, I wish I had better trades to give here. I'm going to be really honest. This Tesla short kind of working, and by that I mean we're like 10 cents in the money. Wish I hadn't accidentally taken part of it out pretty early, but c'est la vie, that's how it goes. Maybe we'll reload if we see this hold here at 179, but right now I have no reason to leave, so I'm not going to. Trying to be a little bit more patient. What else happened here? SPY popping back up to that 511 area. 511 was interesting support earlier, so this could get be a little bit of a pièce de résistance on our way back down, so let's see what happens. If we see resistance here, I might short this. Like I said, definitely don't want a revenge trade because of that NQ long. If anything, I want to avenge trade, and by that I mean take a trade based on strong fundamentals or strong technicals that I feel confident in. If I see that, I'll take it.
Yes.
Trees out of NVIDIA. So you want to talk about that
Yeah,
trade?
so we had a couple of good trades on NVIDIA here, but we had to pack our patience on this one. And we got out of Redsville with these two NVIDIA trades. I don't usually trade NVIDIA. This is the hammer candle that got me interested in this NVIDIA long. We dip aggressively, and then this is the hammer candle right here, baby, that kind of sent everything changing for me. And there we go, a new candle to make a 5-minute high. Now it's on its way back into 895. So happy with this trade. Got out a little bit of a trouble with it, but it doesn't seem to have that continuation north. Well, maybe it does anyway, but there's going to be a lot of bamboozlement on the way. But that hammer candle really stood out to me there on the 5-minute look, caused me to get involved. This was the loser that we had on NVIDIA, that long, and then we had to flip short, got long again, out, added, out. So happy with this trade. It puts me back into Greensville. So yeah. That's not bad. What else is going on over here with respect to these large caps? Well, we're right above 18.1 again, and that was really bamboozling. Did we have an auction today? What was the reason for that aggressive sell-off? Was it just the NVIDIA trade?
Some people were thinking it was NYCB.
Ah, okay. I see. I'll always allow. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to look at the economic calendar to see what we had, if anything that could have caused that midday move. All right. So, no, not really. We have the beige book coming out at 2. Kashkari speaks at 3:15. So that'll be on the closing show. Yeah, really nothing here. Atlanta Fed GDP now came in at 1. That was it. Nothing really other than that. Kind of interesting there. But yeah, it could be NYCB. No question about it. But nice move up on that future. Here we go, 18.1 again on the future. So we get that big pop up off that. Where did we get down to? 18.040 or thereabouts. Popped up and back into 18.130. So almost a 100-point move within a few minutes. And right back down we go, or we're at, I should say, 18.1 yet again. So are we going to do the wick shimmy dance from the north side? If we do, if we end up holding 18.1, that could be awfully bullish for some of these Mag 7 stocks. But we're going to have to hold that level and not give up the ghost. And right now we're dipping about 12 points below. Looks like we might be giving up this level. Here we go, right back down, 20 points below now. Wow, what a move on these futures. And right back down to lows. This is nice midday movement right here. Look at this. Are you seeing this?
I am.
Are you seeing this? Oh my goodness, right back down into that level. I have no idea what's going on, but NVIDIA just broke 890 again. Here come 888s on NVIDIA. Everything downside, Adara, in Mag 7 world. Let me just show the charts here real quick on the Mag 7, including the future being the top right-hand corner as well. Yeah, everything. You can see everything ending off, I should say, at a red candle there. But I don't think we've given up the ghost on NVIDIA. That's the thing, that 890 general area, we're still hanging out at it. We haven't made a higher high. We made a lower high for sure at that 894.5 or so. But being like $1.50 below that key level means nothing on an $800 name. I'm talking about 890 being the level, and where we're trading at right now with NVIDIA, 889 and a third. So who knows? Who knows? But that was a very surprising move here on the future. Do we get support at this level, or are we going to break the lows? So the low on that big dip candle was, I'm talking about the NQ, was 18,041. Now we're trading at 6-1s. So right there, guys, wow, what a move down. About 12 minutes left on the show. Big, big moves and everything. I keep saying that over and over, but I mean, that's the truth. What are you looking at over there?
Yeah, what I'm looking at is, oh my gosh. Okay, so I got out of this Tesla short because we broke above that 179.20. I had the really tight stop area as well because of the QQQ disaster, which I don't have to say any words here. It is what it is. So that's why I had to get out of that. But basically, I wanted to keep the stop tight for risk reasons. Also, I didn't have much of the position left either because I figured out part of it 2 seconds after I got into the trade. So I should have just stayed here. I didn't. This short would have worked here. Now we're back at 178. But you know what? That's okay. It is what it is. Someone was asking what happened to the Tesla short. That's what happened to the Tesla short. We broke above my area of interest. I did set way too tight a stop for this. As Sharif says, and as I'm definitely trying to take to heart as well, sometimes these NVIDIAs and Teslas, you need to give them a little bit more wiggle room. I definitely did not give this enough wiggle room. Magic Mike asking about the Beige Book event that we have at 2 p.m. So that basically, I'm trying to get some more info on this as well. Basically, just it's published 8 times a year, and it gathers anecdotal information on current economic conditions through the bank and branch directors and interviews. Yeah, so it's kind of a summary. It's going to be a little bit more of a lagging indicator. So yeah, there could be some volatility related to that. Some people as well speculating it could be a late market reaction to the Fed Chair Powell testimony here in front of the Congress. So that could potentially be what's happening here as well. But yeah, it's hard to say. I think sometimes too, as Neil said, and as I'm trying to take to heart as well, in his real deal with Neil, that nothing has to make sense as long as you make dollars. This move though is so massive that it's a little bit harder to kind of, justify it with that. Honestly, I wish I had a trade here, but this market's a little bit too volatile for me, especially as a range trader. I got into trouble trying to force that move into the Qs when it wasn't there. So this is not really something that I feel super confident getting involved in right now. We're coming near the end of the day. 10 minutes left of the midday. What a midday it has been. As Sharif was saying earlier, lots of things moving. Yeah. And I echo this. This has been crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, nothing to say except for shocker.
Yeah, I know,
massive
right?
moves down.
This is why I didn't short APM, Adair, even though it broke that level. I want to show it. Look at how it continues to range. The strength on this name continues to hang out, even though it was well off the highs at 18 almost there, 17 and change. But this has been kind of a range trade for anybody who's wanted to range trade a small cap gapper. But I was really hoping for the breakdown below VWAP, and right now VWAP's not too far from the low. The low there was around 10.25. VWAP's at 8.5. I mean, it wouldn't take that much of a move to move this down, given what it's already done on the day to the long side. So we'll continue to watch this one. I secured shorts for it, but we may not get a chance to use them on the day. Kyle, short SPY from 511 added at 510. Shout out to you, Kyle, taking that bad boy short. I did not anticipate that midday move. I gotta tell you the truth, that kind of caught me by surprise. Let's see what else. Magic Mike, what is the Beige Book event at 2 p.m.? All that volatility seems relevant to that. I don't know, man. I feel like the Beige Book is a bit dated. It kind of shows what the Fed's been talking about at their last meeting. I think that the more contemporaneous testimony today from Jerome Powell was probably a little more market moving. Not really sure what happened there. We know that he was done speaking, and then we had multiple market moves, but usually we don't find out till after the fact anyway. So great that we had intraday volatility, but definitely bamboozling a little bit there if you were looking to play off key levels, because those levels just got blown through. Nice skin. I almost said Niskin. Do you think the market will be up tomorrow? I have no idea. That's the beauty of the market. We come in, we trade what's in front of us, but I didn't hear what he had to say. Obviously, we got little snippets.
Yeah.
If what he said was dovish, more dovish leaning, then we could have a green day. But if they interpret, or the market interprets his comments as more hawkish, as being more higher for longer kind of thing, then we probably stay moving down on the future. But we've been consolidative. The title?
Shorting into
Shorting into an active market. Ram is like, isn't the video of your lesson today like perfectly accurate to this? Yeah, it is. Ram just caught me completely by surprise because it just came out of nowhere, I feel. But here's the daily look on the future. Let me just remove pivots here for a second because I want to show how we've been kind of just consolidating a little bit. Not consolidating, but we've been in a range since we broke through 18. So obviously the break of 18 came around, when did we break through 18 initially? Yeah, we broke through 18 back in early Feb. We got into 18.1 or so, and we've kind of been dancing a little bit below 18, a little bit above, with the highest high coming there on the 29th, excuse me, and the 1st of March coming into 18.3 or almost 18.4 general area. So we've been in and around that 18 area for a while. Let's see how long we end up staying here before we really leave 18,000 behind and start using it as a support level, or maybe even 18.1 as a support level. Yeah, so we'll see there. APM though, this one looks like it may be making newer highs, higher lows here for APM, as the shorts that I have may just have to go unused, because this one bouncing off 10.5, then bouncing off 11, now bouncing off 11.5. As areas of support, all the while making higher highs into 13. It's got 14 with which to contend before it can really talk about taking the previous high at around 17.5. This one looks primed for another afternoon move. APM looking real good here, Adara.
Yeah, that APM, I wish I could have gotten involved in that. We dipped a little bit too low. I forgot to look at it again. Pops right back up. But yeah, I mean, this SPY move, I should have taken this. I was curious about this around that 511 area. Should have taken it short, didn't. That's okay. Honestly, you know what I have to say? Sometimes you have to think about the small victories. I'm happy I'm positive on the day.
Good.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we're not positive by a lot, mind you, but we're positive. We had that move down in the Qs, and unfortunately, we did get chopped up in that. And I think my biggest thing from that, as I said this getting into it, this was a weird trade. I shouldn't have taken it in the first place. And I've learned from that, right? What I was really trying to do was scalp. I like that we had this strength here. I was trying to scalp it up into that 441.70s, and the market was like, yeah, Adara, we're going to teach you this lesson by just pulling it all the way to the downside. And that's how it goes. That's how it goes. And I hope, you know, we're in how to trade. I hope at the very least, maybe there's some kind of learning opportunity to be had here for everybody, because I've certainly learned. And I try to learn from my mistakes. And I think that's one of why I'm very lucky, and I feel very grateful to be a new trader here, learning with everybody. Also worth noting, you were saying a lot of key levels got blown out with that move down. I agree, but there's one, though, that kind of kept trucking on, and that is Google. We still have these higher lows. Tried to get involved in this pop here at that 131.25. Could not get filled. That's okay. That would have been about nice 25 penny scalp. This one looks like it's going to keep going, though. Yeah, honestly, this market is just has me at a loss for words.
Crazy.
This has been a massive day. Congrats to those shorts, killing it over here. And as Ramin said, very much fulfilling our lesson of the day, vis-a-vis shorting into an active downtrend, because the downtrend certainly did get nice and active after Papa Powell stepped down off that mic. Also, thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls saying, you know, starting out this upcoming show here. Love being here. This has been a great day for the markets. You win some, you lose some, but hopefully you have a little bit of fun with how to trade every day. And I'm excited to see what Neil and Sean have to bring us. I'm sure there were some very exciting trades. I know Neil was following the NYSE Bank Corp, so I think that'll be, I said Bank Corp so weirdly.
We know what you mean.
Bank, yeah, Bank, I don't know. It's a bank, and it's an NYSE, and it's the community. And Neil, I know, was talking about that, so I think there should be some interesting trades here. Do you have any trades heading into the end of the midday? I'm
looking at APM, guys. I'm looking for continued strength. It's been ranging well above VWAP, though. That's the thing. VWAP on my chart on APM is 815. It's been trading at 10 to 13 the entire afternoon. This didn't even touch VWAP once since basically 10:30, 10:50, something in and around there. It's been so strong. It's been way elevated at the moment from the volume-weighted average price. Tanking, though, now. This one, I think lots of things today will humble you on the market. Thinking a $13 breakout trade, and now we're at $11 on APM. So yeah, I might have to think again on this one, but great look on everything today, and NVIDIA, not the least of which helped me get out of Redsville. Shout out to NVIDIA. What are we doing here? Bitcoin trader cannot see your positions, or are you resting? I'm resting. I am done. No trades at the moment. I am looking, though, at APM for a possible long. I'll have to get it at the right price, though. We'll have to wait and see. NVIDIA back up to 891 after dipping exactly off VWAP, by the way. I should have been alive to that. The low there was around 884. VWAP was in and around that area and it shot right back up. So giving you about $7 or $6 or so off that bottom. What a move on NVIDIA. Michael Lloyd saying beige book coming out in a couple of minutes. Yes, sir. We mentioned that 2 o'clock time slot will be the beige book release. But again, like I said, I think the more contemporaneous testimony today from Jerome Powell, probably a little bit more relevant than what they thought about a few weeks ago. Turin, Sharif, good volume on this head and shoulder break NFLX. Sure, let's have a look real quick. About 1 minute left on the show. I'll have a look and I'll send it to you to send it off. NFLX. Let's see. Oh, that is very interesting. Wow, I want you to look at this.
Ooh.
Look at this. Okay, so here's the thing. What's the trend that preceded this? Let's look at the 15. See, it's as distorted on the 15. So we don't have an uptrend that preceded it. Well, we have a little bit of an uptrend. Look, I think it's great, but I would wait for that 598.5 break. That's where it is break even. So send it to you. Send it to Brenda.
Yeah, I mean, wow, guys, it's been quite a day, and
Unreal.
I feel very. Oh, my mic died. Sorry.
Okay, guys. All right, Adara's mic is dead, so I'm going to send it off. I haven't done this in a while. Adara and I will be back same time, same bat channel. We'll be talking about shorts all week, but Brendo is now at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here as we get into the final couple hours. Lots to discuss when it comes to what's happening as far as the overall market. Fed Chair